Bye-bye. What up, viewers? What up? What up? I am continuing my playthrough of Disco Elysium, and I haven't turned my lights on. What am I doing? So let's hop in and jump right in. What did happen last time? Oh, I guess we're here. I gotta sleep soon. Oh yeah, I was gonna talk to the dudes. It's a bowl. There's spit in it, reeking of ugh. Okay, drunk here. It's on the wall. Photos of men in overalls, toting guns, and in placards. Okay. Okay. See hawthorn bushes outside? Do I? I like holding the flashlight. It's pretty. Let's go.
This is where you say your bed.
The broad-shouldered man points at you with a beer can.
Detective.
Huh. Lieutenant acknowledges you with a sharp note. He's leaving it to you. We need to talk about the man hanged out back.
Oh, this is about him. A real looker, that one.
Okay.
You're sure taking your time, waiting for him to get ripe and pretty for you, huh?
Oh, he was a real pretty boy by now. Real hot stuff. Letting out that pretty boy smell.
Whoa.
Time to go to work in the shit factory!
Easy, boys. These janitors have a hell of a job cut out for them. I mean, I wouldn't go in there for $1 million.
He slaps his forehead.
You might want to start asking your questions now. It's not going to get better than this.
Do a head count first. Connect these men to the tracks you saw in the yard. Chances are they're going to match.
Get in the room.
Starting from the right. Boot size 44. Blonde man. In his 30s. Overbearingly masculine. Sitting on his right. Standard working boots. Size 45 or 46. Eldest in the room. Probably mid-50s.
Oh yeah, how many people are there?
Smoker. Quiet. Across at the other table. Hobnailed working boots. Size 43.
Oh, because we knew the girl was involved,
Gang
right?
tattoos. Mesk or Sarah
Drug
Mauritian. In his
peddling
late
girl?
30s, early 40s. And then, standard working boot. Steel reinforced toes. Size 46. The big dick. Wide at the shoulders and lean at the hips. Rugby cap. Fingerless gloves. And numerous scars. A little under 40. The emblem on his vest says Rowing Club. A little patch below it reads T. Hardy, Captain.
Okay.
In the far corner, standard working boot, steel reinforced toes, size 44, 40-something, non-alcoholic beverage in hand. You squint. Is that a plectrum?
Where?
On his neck. Forget it. It's not important.
Plectrum?
Let's call this one the musician.
And the little guy?
Size 41, with the light step. Not a child, after all. An older man with a rat face, mean, watery eyes, and 2 front teeth missing. In the middle, heaving and wheezing. Big guy. Boot size 46, deep marks. Probably carried the victim over. He alone is 130 kilos. Add the man in armor, and you could easily exceed 220. In conclusion, these 7 are the actors on the crime scene. The footprints were theirs, but there's a discrepancy.
One of them's absent, the odd soul.
Exactly. The missing lady driver who was running the drug trade. Does it mean the Hardy Boys are involved in the drug trade as well?
The entire union might be punished. Look around suspiciously. This would fit what Joyce told us, but I don't want to make any assumptions.
Maybe. But hey, you've stood there for about 4 seconds, not saying anything. Now is a good time to hit them with questions. Where's the 8th Hardy?
The fuck is with you, fella?
Found 8 sets of footprint, but there's only 7 of you. Where is the 8th Hardy Boy? Guess what? I've connected you to the local drug trade.
What are you talking about, madman? There's no 8th Hardy Boy. There's 7 of us and we're all here.
Sizes you up.
Or what? You want to be the 8th Hardy Boy? We ain't hiring.
Actually, boss, we've been talking and we think she could maybe...
She?
She? So there's an 8th Hardy, and it's a Hardy girl. Who might it be? Elizabeth? The gardener?
No.
Shut the fuck up, Glenn! I do the talking here. Now what the fuck do you want, cop?
It has to be good, if he won't let you pursue it. Looks like the lieutenant thinks so too.
So let me get this straight. There is an 8th Hardy Boy. It's a she, and you don't like us talking about her?
That's right. We're not talking about this. This is a private Hardy Boys matter. Nothing to do with your shit. End.
He points with the lieutenant.
You're not cops here. Don't go digging around if you don't want a bullet in the back of your head. I'm
I
watching
won't be
you.
intimidated.
Good. We are all watching each other. Officer, your question.
There's no point in pushing it further, he thinks. This is already a victory. We'll learn more about this 8th Hardy sooner or later.
Don't push it? This doesn't feel right. Connected to the local drug trade.
Like hell you have. There is no local drug trade. This place is as clean as a rifle. Go back to Jamrock and ask the local junkies how clean your streets are in Precinct 41 Kilos.
We'll do that. In the meantime, did you know that there's an abandoned lorry at the intersection that was used to move raw ingredients for drugs from Terminal B to Jamrock? The person driving it was present at the hanging. It was one of you. We've connected the footprints. Detective, do you want to deliver the coup de grâce?
You're right. There is no local drug trade except you. No, you do the honors. You earned it.
Thank you. You're right, Titus. There is no local drug trade because it's all controlled by you. You're the drug trade.
That's a mighty interesting theory. I guess that's what you would need to do, theoretically. A big, strong, state-run monopoly would outcompete the runts on the street.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. Theoretically, that's what you would do. To get rid of the gangs, the dealers, even some of the junkies.
You would need good, trustworthy people to take their place, of course. Hardy men to run such a monopoly. For the good of the community, of course.
Yeah, keep telling that yourself that. I know for a fact there's still plenty of drugs out there. This is disgusting.
Boo fucking who. People will always be taking drugs. Might as well do it clean and organized.
Yeah, that's what the labor movement is all about. Clean and organized. And the Hardy Boys are running it.
Huh.
Theoretically, of course. We're just talking politics here. My answer to your drug accusation is, how dare you? Go fuck yourself.
Huh.
Not quite yet, Mr. Hardy. There were 8 sets of prints on the crime scene. There are only 7 Hardy boys here.
The eighth Hardy, the one who's missing, she's running the things?
My answer is, fuck off. Mind your own business. There is no 8th Hardy. I run this goddamn scene.
No, you don't.
And here we go. Back to the usual.
Ah!
I know. Fatty walked on all 4s. He's so fucking fat, he left 2 sets of footprints.
Go fuck your mom, Dennis.
Huh?
That's more like it, boys. You heard him. It was Angus on all 4s. Anything else you need to know?
The man in the backyard, did you do it?
The pretty boy. You guys really love talking about that pretty boy.
Oh my god.
Funny. But my partner and I have a serious matter to discuss with you.
You're involved somehow, I just don't have proof yet? What are your boot prints over all of this scene?
You mean these boots?
He raises his work boots, size 46, steel reinforced toe.
We all got a pair. We wore them the night we took the pretty boy out back and hung him by the neck.
Wow.
Yeah, we did this. Together. All of us. Until he was dead. That's why our prints are all over the scene.
So you confess.
Goddamn right.
Wow.
No. These 7 honest men have equally come forth. They told you what happened so that you don't waste any more of your time.
You murdered him like that, no remorse?
How many people have you sent to the Shays? Ever felt remorse for them?
Chaise électrique is the method of capital punishment in Revachol under the coalition.
Capital punishment.
During the suzerain's reign, it used to be the firing squad.
Or send them to Reunion to rot. For 20 years. For life.
He says it if it was worse than dying.
The River Esperance Correctional Facility, a military prison run by the coalition, dubbed Reunion by the inmates. The origin of the name is unknown.
What we do is different. We enforce the law. We just kill people like it. You just kill people like it's nothing.
But you see, a lawman, is something people agree upon. And here in Martinez, we agreed that this man had to die.
Who called the shots that night?
Are you deaf? There will be no singling anyone out. You can't arrest a Hardy boy without arresting all Hardy boys. Do you think you could do that? Do you think you could arrest them all?
No, but seriously, who calls the shots around here?
Who do you fucking think does?
He sounds amused and angry. You do? You give the commands? I thought she did.
It wasn't a question, dickwad. How fucking stupid are you?
This asshole is worse than... Titus runs the Hardy Boys, genius. That's why we're called the Hardy Boys. Ain't that right, fellas?
I think you got your answer, Mr. Law.
Yes, there are some administrative differences. But on that night, they all acted as one man.
What? That's your defense?
You don't have to keep answering his questions.
The fixer turns to remind Titus.
I know, Lizzie. Relax. We killed him last Sunday night. Seemed like a good way to end the week.
How long had you known the victim?
Known him? We don't associate with scum like that, asshole.
Yeah! Who do you think we are?
Quiet. He came around about 3 weeks ago when that Pines cow first sailed into town. Happy?
By the Pines cow, you mean Joyce Messier, the representative for White Pines? The same company you are striking against?
No, I mean the Pines cow. The stupid-ass cow they sent in to fuck us over. But you know what?
Rubs his chin, pretending to mull it over.
Why don't you ask her about the pretty boy? I'm sure she has interesting things to say when you ask her hard enough.
That's enough insinuation for today, Titus. Officer, your interview is drawing to an end. Don't waste your last questions.
Why don't I just arrest you?
Yeah, lawman. Why don't you?
It's almost an anthropological sight, watching him try to assert dominance over you.
Not in the arresting mood?
These little lies come to life.
By your side, the lieutenant keeps his hand away from his holster. You hear the nylon of his coat hiss as he steps closer. Easy. Walk back from the provocation. They're armed, and they outnumber us. The lieutenant tries to establish eye contact with you.
You confessed to murder, I'm taking you in.
Look, coppers, I know you think you're doing your job here, but there are 7 of us, and 2 of you.
That's an Easter 50, a Ziemsk-made monstrosity. It'll blow your head clean off. Almighty God, even Dick Mullen only has a 45.
You're under arrest. Grab his wrist. Alright.
The last thing you hear is a little murmur. Not a blast, not an echo. No one screams.
Sad news from the district of Martinez as the bodies of...
More dead cops. Sad news from the district of Martinez as the bodies of 2 police officers are found floating in the canal. It is believed the officers were pursuing a murder investigation, but got caught in the dock workers' strike and were gunned down under unclear circumstances. Such needless loss of life is truly tragic, a local union leader, Everett Clare, commented, and added that although the event is truly horrid, we can expect similar incidents to follow if right-wing vigilantes are allowed to run around uncontrolled and try to wriggle their way into well-organized neighborhoods.
Huh. Oh, time to have that whole thing again.
This is where you say your bed.
What's you with a beer can?
Detective.
Oh.
You sure?
Oh, he...
Time.
Blah, blah, blah.
might-
Do a
Skip
head
around.
count. Stop, sit, and them in the far corner. Standard working boot. Steel reinforced toes.
Okay.
Size 41. In conclusion, exact maybe. But hey, you've stood there for about 4 seconds, not...
The fuck is with you, fella? Yeah, goddamn right.
No. These 7 honest men have equally come forth. They told you what happened so that you don't waste any more of your time.
No remorse?
How many
Chase the river.
rest assured? How many people
Chase
Oh,
the
God
river.
dang it.
rest assured?
Are you do? That's for what you
No. We'll still
do.
No.
Quiet.
by.
No. Why don't you?
That's enough insinuation for
Where's he
today,
gone?
Titus.
Why? 'Cause he was worthless mercenary scum, and he stepped out alive in my town.
So he was a mercenary, that's it?
And he stepped out of line.
He repeats, jaw clamped shut like a vice.
What kind of mercenary?
The kind that shows up when you start a strike. The experienced kind, too. Had Cohoy and Semenine written all over him. Ex-Oranese Special Forces.
A live grenade. right here in our bar.
This one has a special gripe with him coming here.
I can't prove it, but I know he was sent by the Wild Pines. They hire merc shit like that. Story of every strike from here to Samara.
Hold on. How do you even know he was in Special Forces? What did he actually do wrong?
Cause one night he walked straight up to the mic and said, "I'm RNA's goddamn Special Forces, and I'm gonna fuck you all."
Really?
Yeah, really. Had a gin and tonic up there, sang some RNA's paratrooper song, and said he's gonna fuck everyone.
We couldn't
What?
believe it either, but he fucking did, right there. Like some kind of animal.
This is a serious violation of the karaoke code.
Yeah, what did he actually do wrong?
Wrong? He harassed women, raped one, harassed workers, threatened to kill some as a warning.
Or spit all over his mouth?
There's slight unease in him suddenly. He regrets mentioning the rape.
To kill us all if we don't open the gates, if we don't let the scabs in, if we don't bend over. And that was before he started coming here.
Yeah, he said it was his favorite joint now. Started coming here every night. Drinking, grabbing girls. Grabbed one of ours mid-karaoke, right there on the stage.
He grabbed someone?
I'm just trying to make sense of the flood of information.
Yeah, this girl's on the mic. A beautiful girl, young. Gets into the second verse of Lover Lake. The fucker grabs her legs, starts screaming, "Show me your cunt! Why don't you show me your cunt?" Then, he gets knocked on the head with a wine bottle. Doesn't even fall down.
He shakes his head in disbelief. Is this the same girl who was sexually assaulted?
Aren't you fucking listening? My man is talking to you. He took care of it. They got the girl out before anything else could happen.
Yeah, me and Eugene got her out. Aren't you fucking listening?
Alright, then who did you rape then? This is a very serious allegation.
No, you're not getting the name. That's a Martinez matter, and I'm not discussing it with you clowns.
There's nothing you can do for now. He's stonewalling you.
How did you kill him?
We hanged him up by his neck until he got real still. Wasn't that obvious, copper?
Didn't they teach you anything at the cop school, idiot?
This is where an autopsy would come in handy. You have to work with what you know.
We need more. Did you muffle him? We haven't heard any reports of screams.
Titus, you don't have to clarify anything.
We overpowered him, dragged his unconscious body to the tree, put a noose around his neck, and hanged him till he was dead and steady.
Then we left him for seagulls, maggots, and you fucks.
Make them a bit more uncomfortable first, then see if it all adds up.
If yes, then how did you manage to overpower him? Things aren't quite right here, are they?
Titus is solid as a rock, and so are a few others. But
First, tell me who's solid.
Elaine, who looks like he might be Titus's right-hand man, the least antsy of the bunch. Definitely not his first time being questioned by the police. This little rat-faced fellow is solid, too. Always fidgety, yes, but no change there. Him neither. Mostly keeps to his tomato juice, or whatever he's got there. This one,
That Angus.
he's sweating profusely and has difficulty breathing. They've smartly kept him out of the conversation thus far. Definitely the weakest link in the chain.
You turn to the big guy. Having trouble breathing over there?
No.
He looks up, startled. Forehead shiny with sweat. A few coiled locks are peeking out from under his warm woolen hat.
Of course he's having trouble breathing. Just look at how fucking fat he is.
The man next to the big guy bursts out laughing.
Fuck off, Shanky. Angus is a powerful guy. All muscle.
Keep your eye on this powerful guy. Sooner or later, he's going to break like a piece of twig.
Wasn't he a trained killer from the Orange Special Forces? If so, then how did you manage to overpower him?
With numbers, asshole. How do you think? You're right, Lizzie. I've done enough explaining here.
No, he hasn't. Not yet.
What, when did this overpowering happen?
Weren't you fucking listening? The fucker came to our bar. It happened right here.
There's something you're not telling me.
And fuck you, too, copper. Picking on Angus like this. We're done with this schoolyard shit. And just so you know, he doesn't have trouble breathing.
His all-muscle comment wasn't sarcastic. He's genuinely trying to look out for Angus. This one is a stone wall. You won't get more out of them about the night of the murder. Not yet.
Other questions about the lynching?
Like what, copper?
What are we gonna do now?
Nothing. Your investigation here is done. Leave Martinez, go back to your stations where you belong.
I think we're going to stick around, thanks. Some things don't add up here, Titus.
Closes his notebook.
I've done this job for long enough to know that people don't just confess to first-degree murder, even if it is a group responsibility. We're going to look into this.
Good luck with that. You've heard everything
Godly.
a rent-a-cop is gonna hear from us, real law officials. You're lucky you didn't get a beating.
Where's the 8th Hardy Boy?
What are you talking about, madman? Or what?
Actually, boss, we've been talking and we think she could maybe...
She?
Shut the
It.
So,
That's right.
You're not...
good.
There's no point in pushing it further, he thinks. This is already a
Guess what?
victory. We'll learn more about this 8th Hardy sooner or later.
Connected to the local drug trade.
Like hell you have.
We'll do that. The person driving it was present at the hanging.
Honor?
Thank you.
That's mighty.
Yeah, man.
You would need good, trustworthy
Admitting
people to
profiting
take
off
their
poisoning
place,
your own
of
people?
course. Hardy men to run such a monopoly. For the good of the community. Boo fucking who?
Yeah.
Theo,
Not quite yet.
my aunt.
And
I know. Go fuck.
that's more like it, boys. You heard him. It was Angus on all fours. Anything else you need to
Taking
know?
off. Oh, I leveled that. What was I next gonna invest in? Should start taking notes.
Yes?
You should know that I can't remember anything. I think there was something I was gonna... Composure? Didn't I already put something in composure? Did. Authority? Where's authority fall? Intimidate yourself, assert yourself. You level up authority. Where's the map again? Shelf of crime novels.
The luxury of fine things. Just look at those black monk straps.
Yeah.
Beautiful things give you it, remember. When they come to take it away from you, you worked.
appear to be erotic. Without actual erotica. See a container you can't open? Equip a pry bar.
Hello again, esteemed officer, and welcome to...
Bye.
The display rack is brimming with worn paperbacks featuring an extremely muscular, sword-wielding barbarian. Nothing of interest. Only silence and the cosmic background pain radiation. Mountains of it. Heroic.
Hi, Ace Detective. Are you here for more books?
Yep.
A small mountain of colorful board game boxes. There are numerous types of games for all ages. Shelves filled to the brim with crime novels featuring the supposed... Shelves full of bio... This bookstore is not strictly about crime, romance, and biographies of famous people.
I want to buy
There's also a
medicinal
wide
purposes
range of
the veil.
paranatural literature.
420. Oh, I gotta go talk to what's her name?
Several maps have been attacked. The maps look old and faded.
I gotta talk to Joyce now.
The curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust, hang before you, as if taunting you.
Come back and open the curtains after I talk to Joyce. Need to pass time. Read a buy a book. Reading passes time quickly.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
More questions about reality?
More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
RCM Kim debrief done? What times are these?
These are unimportant times, Detective. You and I were born after the dust had settled. A thousandth of a second too late. For the big time.
There's a flash of teeth?
The revolution.
There's the revolution I keep hearing about.
It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next, who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle.
You say it's a bunch of apes duking it out?
Why, of course. We're talking Duke Out Central. Full swing intra-species warfare.
And these apes, were they evil?
No. I would say the apes were neutral.
He looks at you, her gaze sharp. Sounds like evil to me.
On the other hand, maybe you're right.
Who was shot in the head?
Those would be the communists. Generally
Communists.
speaking, 40 million people got shot in the head during the World Revolution. But the communists, they all got shot in the head. Oh, and the anarchists too. They shot them well. So well, one forgets they even existed.
Did the communists and the Archimedes shoot back?
Did they ever? Before they got shot themselves, they shot 2 million people.
That's a tragedy.
Yes. The Red Deluge. The Insulindian Deluge, they call it.
Anyone else shot in the head on the opposing side?
Oh, lots of people. Even the king got shot in the head, or thrown beneath a horse, or drowned. Accounts differ. It was unceremonious. Just as well, he wasn't actually the king. Just the king's nephew. The real king abdicated and lived out a long and productive life as a venture capitalist in Grad.
Cowardly king.
I prefer the term risk-averse. King Guillaume was nobody's fool. He could smell a PR disaster brewing. So he got out alive, and his nephew Fricelle got shot in his place. Him and tens of thousands of his wonderfully fascist kingsmen. It was a wild time.
Look at the mineral rights.
The liberals got the mineral rights. And by mineral rights, I mean everything.
And by liberals, you mean?
Liberals are usually middle-class people, Detective. Or the remaining gentry. The beneficiaries of the pre-revolutionary arrangement. Some were rich enough to stay with the Constitution, with monarchy. Big mistake. Others bet on the revolution. They were called the ultras, or ultra-liberals. They fared well.
How did liberals win it all?
They didn't win so much as survive. We were the last ones standing when the war ended. Everyone else got shot in the head, remember?
Yeah.
We. She's one of them. Of course.
Everyone got shot who was there to surrender to.
To foreign intervention. The coalition. Those people really took the mineral rights.
Who are the coalition?
The coalition of nations. Grad, Mesk, Vesper, Messina, Oranje, and Sur-la-Clay. The armed center of the world. They landed here and ended the revolution. It was the moralist thing to do.
There is bitterness in her voice, tempered with understanding. She is critical, but ultimately understands the cause.
Moralist?
The moralists believe in keeping everything exactly the way it is. They believe in mineral rights, and not shooting people in the head.
Don't we all?
At least not in the same manner and volume as the others do. They are the long-standing provisional rulers of Revachol now, the coalition government. This is their zone of control. They embolden the RCM with crumbs of the same law they took. Technically speaking, you are a moralist.
Hey.
The color of moralism is blue. The official motto of Moral Intern, or Moralist International, is a blue forget-me-not, a piece of grey sky. Unofficial. For a moment, there was hope.
Always picking the option that doesn't commit anything, then hell, yes I am. And also not. Always picking the option that doesn't commit to anything. Which is technically, practically, for a moment, there was hope.
A devout man of the center. Hard to come by. It's good to have someone who takes a moderate approach to head shooting. In your line of work, I mean.
When was this kerfuffle?
The turn of the century revolution? Don't answer it. It's a trick question. The revolution began in '02 on the Isla of Grad, though by the end, nearly the whole world had gotten involved.
Started it.
It wasn't a who, but a what. A pandemic of Zarat, a particularly virulent prion disease, which the authorities in Grad proved unable to contain. Then Mazov came along and overthrew the government.
What did this Sarat do?
It made people overthrow their governments.
What?
Indeed. Zarat is a highly infectious microorganism that destroyed brain tissue. The actual causes of the revolution were material. The pandemic only provided the spark.
Where did this spread from?
From Revachol and Grad? Not far. The world managed to cauterize itself. Mazov's government was overthrown in '08, and the coalition crushed the Revachol commune 2 years later. It was the end.
What came next?
Why? You and I, officer. Our lives in the zone of control.
Something tells you her life and yours are not that similar. Maybe it's because she has a boat and you have that necktie? A pair of pants?
Our lives are very different from each other.
No doubt. But we share the same time and position on the planet's crust. That counts for more than you think.
What is the zone of control?
A city-state divided into free market zones under the everlasting interregnum of the Coalition of Nations. And you, of course, the citizens' militia.
Okay.
The clatter of typewriter keys fills the main hall of the reappropriated silk mill. Precinct 41. Chad Tilbrook presses enter. Outside, Officer Elfboy Williams slams the door of an armored motor carriage.
The zone of control is the third incarnation of Revachol, after the failure of the suzerain and the commune.
What happened in the rest of the world?
Modernity. They developed the marvels of the inter-eastlery communication. Telematic milieus, radiation, colored plastics. Meanwhile, in Revachol West, the aftermath continues for the 5th decade.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Are you saying it's been 43 years?
Time flies.
What have we been doing all this time?
The 20s saw a decade of urban war, west of the river leveled, offshore platforms in flames. Still, it's regarded as an improvement on what came before. 08 to 19 was simply
And
hell.
after that?
The 30s? Things settled down in the 30s. Revachol East transformed itself into the world's largest tax haven, with the international community's blessing. For the first time in a long time, it seemed like things were going somewhere.
Were they?
No. It was a market mirage fueled by cocaine and quantitative easing.
Cocaine
The
fueled.
40s dispelled it like a cold splash. An Isla-wide hangover, you might say. And here we are. Welcome to reality, baby.
Nice.
For her to be where she is, Wild Pines Group must have picked the right side.
Which side was Wild Pines Group on?
They picked the winning side. That's why they're here, and others are not.
Chose wisely?
Perhaps it wouldn't have turned out that way had I been in charge. I might have bet on the king and led the Pines to doom.
You would have sided with the king?
I would have sided with the cannons. If you'd seen the calibers of the things, you might have too. Perhaps it's better I was born when I was. 10 of the 14 Indo tribes got it wrong. Feld, Kupri, Tricentennial. So I suppose I would have been in good company.
What would you have done differently?
Good question. What would you have done differently?
I would have sought a medical solution. Sounds like Taza drove these people mad. I would have positioned myself very precisely. I would have made it out with mineral rights. I would have sought a medical solution.
So a quarter of humanity simply lost their minds. And how would you stop a prion, a complex folding protein, unlife, with a technology 50 years ago?
Modest social care and perhaps a little research program? They have a zombie apocalypse? Not turn your brain into sponge tissue? No, that's not practical. You kill them all? You kill all the zombies?
Liquidate? That's what King Philip kept screaming from the Sol Aurum. Liquidate! Liquidate!
He says in a sing-songy kind of way.
In the end, they liquidated the Sol Aurum, melted the palace cube down to gold and platinum, and sold it for bullets. Strange times.
She says almost wistfully.
Opinions expressed here do not reflect the official position of the RCM.
And what is your official position, Lieutenant?
My position, ma'am? My parents got ripped to shreds in the revolution. I would have gone the same way. I was saved by being 2 years old. That's my position. The abattoir.
Abattoir?
Understandable.
She nods. It's enough about the times.
They are what they are. Who knows? An afterbloom may yet come. Anyway, enough sentimentality. Is there anything else you want to know?
Not so fast. Who is she in all this? Ask her who she is. She owes you an answer.
I don't know what you are.
She won't maneuver her way out of this one.
I am the vilest of the vile. A traitor, a devourer of nations and infants. I am an ultra.
She raises the corner of her mouth, smirking, revealing a canine.
What's an ultra?
An ultra-liberal. It's a type of liberal from the revolution. It's not the moderate kind.
Dios mío. I liberated pretty hard myself. I understand what's vile about it.
Haven't you heard? I am a nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp. One of those who pushed the king under a shit wagon and betrayed the revolution. We surrendered the nation to the financier pirates. No sane person identifies as an ultra-liberal anymore. Not in broad daylight. You've got Revachol in your blood. A real nationalist. Tell me, now that I've uncoiled myself, are you repulsed?
In her green eyes you see a mixture of truth and self-satire. Decades of guilt and pride. Forgive her, but only because you like pearlescent teeth and those light green eyes.
I don't care that you're a liberal, or I don't care about what you're saying at all. I forgive you.
I do hope so. I hope we can remain collegial despite my affection for regicide and multiculturalism. We didn't mean to kill the king, I assure you. When the dust settled, the liberals were the only ones left to clean up the mess. By virtue of their survival, they were handed enormous power to shape the future. This was all our last generation managed.
Would you have done something differently?
With due respect to our overlords, the eternal caretaker government that keeps Martinez a monument to the efficacy of its artillery, I would not have relinquished sovereignty to the coalition. Not here in Martinez, and not in the Stella Maris or Delta Beachheads either. If not for my own sake.
She realizes her small, cold fists are clenched. She loosens them.
Then for my daughters. We had an obligation to defend our sovereignty. We should have burned the whole Isola down rather than let them have it.
Dark orange flames reflect in her green eyes. An oil fire on the ocean.
You're a smart woman.
Perhaps. My intellectual vanity will be my undoing.
You're no dummy yourself.
No, or my intellectual vanity will be my undoing.
And the crown on your head as you lay in the casket.
You're a patriot.
Yes, I suppose I am. But I wouldn't be a patriot anywhere but here.
Seditious talk, man.
Leonard puts down his notes and gives her a look. You have daughters?
Yes. Whatever else I am, I'm also a mother and a wife. Now, shall we return to reality?
What is this acute encephalopathy?
It's a neurological disorder caused by a lack of vitamin B in the brain. Symptoms include a retrograde amnesia. It's quite serious. You should get yourself checked out.
She conveys it in short, cold bursts, trying not to invest too deeply in the condition of this doomed detective. In case he goes down later, souring the entire portfolio.
Yeah, you got a lot right on me. I won't let you down. What causes encephalopathy?
Well, it's either bariatric surgery or long-term alcohol use.
It's definitely the drinking.
She nods slowly.
Yes, and perform autoerotic asphyxiation on yourself with your funny necktie, out in the open somewhere.
What is this? Spread your hands?
A bird? A sphenicid?
Flightless.
A flightless bird of the polar regions?
I'm guessing.
Some sort of krill hunter? No, wait. You're an ancient ruin. A symbol of hubris and decay. Half submerged in some salty sea.
You're saying I'm ruined?
Of course you're not, my dear. I'm just terrible at guessing games.
I mean, what is this place here?
Ah. This is the pier of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A, where the tenants have been kind enough to rent me a slot. Or two.
What is Rue de Saint-Ghislain 33A?
A pre-revolutionary tenement. Old buildings are called tenements, you see. And new buildings, bâtiments. After les bâtiments nouveaux. But 33A and 33B are not nouveaux. They're old.
Looks like the crumbled facade.
This one used to be 8 to 10 stories tall. A real high-rise by the standards of the last century. Built to mirror the skyscrapers across the bay in the Delta. That was before the war, of course.
Who lived in them?
Mostly the urban middle class, I believe. This was once primo real estate, before the cannons lopped 4 or 5 stories off.
Splat, splat.
In the dilapidated balcony, Cindy's skull gives Joyce the evil eye, her red paintbrush held to her throat.
You could be wrong, but from here it appears as if she's running the brush across her throat in a soaring motion.
Wonderful.
Gross. What is that? Point to Cindy the skull.
The girl in the old lady rags.
No.
Looks like a sullen and rebellious member of a teen infraculture.
Infraculture?
Yes. You and I belong to the supraculture. We're common, the herd. The music on the radio, the food in the chain restaurant, those are all too popular for the girl in the old lady rags. She prefers a fantasy world, an infraculture with its own dress code and vernacular. It is an illusion, I'm afraid. There is no refuge from the supraculture.
I don't understand everything, make it more complicated somehow?
I can't. That's how simple it is. One may dye their hair green and wear their grandma's coat all they want. Capital has the ability to subsume all critiques into itself. Even those who would critique capital end up reinforcing it instead. All right. What next?
That's all for now.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know.
I spoke with the lorryman at the roundabout.
Yes, my eyes on the harbour have sent word to that effect. What have you discovered?
Wait, what exactly are these eyes located?
It doesn't really matter. And I do apologize for the surveillance. Wild Pines can't afford to be blind at a time like this. In any case, it's a relief to know someone has looked into it. If I may ask, will there be an official investigation? I assume you discovered there is an operation.
Yes. The lieutenant is about to interject. Cut him off. This decision should be yours.
I should decide.
Exactly. But what?
There will be an investigation, that's all I can say.
Okay. I thank you for sharing that much with me. My employer thanks you as well.
Huh.
In any case, you've held up your end of our arrangement. Now it's my turn. I wouldn't normally break protocol like this, but the situation demands it. If you don't solve this murder, I'm afraid we may have a bloodbath on our hands.
Tell me again how the lynching and strike are connected?
I have an indirect role to play, I'm sad to say. My employer experienced a momentary lapse of faith in me. In that moment, they elected to deploy a private military contractor as an insurance measure. They called it my security detail.
Do you need a security detail?
Absolutely not. These mercenaries are muscle, pure and simple. They are meant to intimidate the Union into surrendering.
Okay.
Who are they, exactly?
Crenel, an Oronese military company. As far as I know, 3 arrived in Martinez. They report to me sporadically, but they do not answer to me. To be frank, our relationship is deteriorating. They wear ceramic armor, have semi-automatic weapons, and years of combat experience. They also have trauma and stressor disorder, and no idea how to conduct themselves in an urban civilian environment.
Interesting.
So, what happened?
The story is, one of them, the colonel, I don't know his real name, sexually assaulted a local woman while he was drunk and separated from his unit. This allowed some of the more militant Union members to subdue him. He was taken out behind the whirling in rags and lynched last Sunday night.
What then?
Nothing. Mr. Clare refuses to let me into the harbour. I have not been able to discuss this matter with anyone there. The remaining 2 Crenel contractors carry out their orders, for now. It's a smokescreen. In secret, they are conducting an independent military tribunal into the lynching. Once this investigation is concluded, executions will follow.
Oof.
What is the nature of this so-called investigation?
Whether to execute one, some, or all of the Union militants.
I have to say, this is not Disco. Maybe the investigation can team up, you know, share resources and intelligence. We made a mess here.
It was the Union who strung him from that tree. My hope is that you provide a single concrete suspect before Crenel indiscriminately pick theirs. Simply put,
He grabs hold of the mainsail.
if you don't pin this on someone good and do it fast, they will identify and execute everyone present at the lynching. This in turn will force the Union to respond.
They would have to project strength and power.
The Debarders have over 2,000 men. It will be 1,000 to 1.
Have you ever seen a hornet invade a beehive, Lieutenant? It's not pretty.
The Seraï's giant hornet, the world's 2nd largest insect, can kill 40 honeybees a minute, while a group of 30 can decimate an entire hive of 20,000 bees in less than 4 hours.
Holy crap.
These men work in tandem using semi and fully automatic firearms. Their armor is virtually impenetrable to muzzle-loaded weapons, even yours. Most Union workers don't have guns at all.
The muzzle loaders need to be reloaded after every 1 or 2 shots. The automatics every 1 or 2 minutes.
Oof.
As I said, a bloodbath.
I can't see it happening. Too many things have to go wrong first. Seems like a pretty bleak scenario.
Too many things have already gone wrong. Nameless, badgeless detective of the citizens' militia.
Oof.
All we can do is keep that which is not from following suit. One single concrete suspect delivered into civil court, and I may be able to defuse this situation.
Is this about a bloodbath? What can you tell me about Crenel?
Not much. Their public resume is relatively good, as far as private military contractors go. I believe they were once called Downwell.
Okay.
They boast a long list of clients. Saint-Baptiste, Welchman-Lorenz, Eintracht. A warning sign, however. The operations concerned all take place in 3rd or 4th world countries. Guarding facilities, escort missions and such.
Meaning they're used to operating in war zones.
Yeah.
Yes. All the good conflict corridors, Supramundi, Yesut, the Seminese Islands, countries that don't have a good record reporting atrocious military conduct on their soil.
Anything else you got on them?
Sadly, no. Before this happened, I had little interest in them. Now that I do, I don't have the resources.
He thinks.
If you still have access to the ICP's database, you could run a better background check than I ever could. It may take some time, though.
Yeah.
The International Collaboration Police, ICP, is charged with coordinating law enforcement activities in complex multinational investigations. Their database is the single largest source of information in the world.
Huh.
Do you know a lot about the inner workings of the RCM and the ACP, ma'am?
In my line of work, it pays to do your research. I was prepared to deal with the RCM. I did not think I'd be dealing with a group like Crenell.
Could you contact the company, tell them to call it off?
I have. And they will. However, these orders take time to reach what is basically a rogue unit out in the field here. Until they do, it's all on us.
You said the deceased assaulted a woman?
Or he didn't. This is information passed on to me from some teenagers loitering around the canal. I cannot testify by it.
Who did the passing? Who did the passing on then?
The remaining contractors. Their tribunal. It's what they believe.
What did these teenagers by the canal say?
That the man was killed because he assaulted a local woman. I've asked around a bit. This seems to be the accepted story around Martinez.
The lieutenant consults his notebook, his eyebrows knitted in concentration.
Odd. We haven't heard any reports about an assault in connection with the lynching. Where did it take place? And when?
Last Sunday night, at the Whirling in Rags, the hostel by the gates. Supposedly, the colonel was drunk, maybe on narcotics too. Either way, he's alleged to have sexually assaulted a woman. Sometime later, a group of dock workers got their hands on him.
Who was the woman?
That's a good question, officer. I don't have the slightest idea. As I said, it's a rumor about a rumor. In any case, it's what the colonel's remaining colleagues believe.
You'll meet her soon enough, you feel.
This colonel was one of the hanged. Did you know him?
If you mean did I see him alive, yes. But I did not know him.
His name was?
Lely, his service name. A nom de guerre, most likely. He wouldn't divulge his full name. Only one of them did. A bad sign if there ever was one.
Lenny, anything else? Nationality, how old he was?
He was 40. Or 50. It's hard to say which. He had a combat injury on his lower jaw. It made it difficult to estimate his age, or gauge his facial expressions.
What else? Nationality? Accent?
He was, Occidental, I think. Light brown hair, a mixed accent, Oranese, or Messinian, maybe. His injury gave him an accent all his own.
Oh.
In a way, it was humanizing. He had to learn to speak through it, through the injury. That's all I know, I guess. I only met him once.
Where are the remaining two works now?
They've gone to ground, as it were. I don't recommend seeking them out.
Is there foot on the
For
guard
one,
wire?
they're almost certainly armed to the teeth. They don't have the same respect for the Revachol citizens' militia as I do. To put it bluntly, they think you're vigilantes. Ghetto savages. It will not be a fruitful meeting.
Vigilantes. You're a professional officer of the only legitimate authority in Revachol.
We still need to know where they are.
You're likely to run into them eventually. When that happens, I'll be in a better position to mediate if I don't appear involved.
Where are these mercenaries?
One is obviously the scab leader at the harbor gates. The one chanting the idiotic slogans. He's barely maintaining his disguise. The other has a vantage point in a building south of the roundabout. They were keeping tabs on you while you were canvassing the lorry drivers.
One must be the goon in the ill-fitting work clothes by the harbor gates. The scab leader. One is in the building overlooking the roundabout.
That would afford a good vantage point. In any case, it's practically inaccessible.
Where is your radio for contacting them, if I may ask? Do you have an earpiece?
Heavens no. I'm not an undercover agent. There's a shortwave at the ship's wheel.
And the other one is the one in the work clothes by the harbor gates, the scab leader.
That may be so. I still hope you heed my advice. There's no need to kick the hornet's nest.
For all your talk of averting this catastrophe, the situation at the gate is a powder keg. Does this not bother you?
Yeah, what about that?
Of course it bothers me, Lieutenant. But my hands are tied. How would my employer react if it appeared I were intervening on behalf of the Union?
Your concern may be appearances. Ours is keeping the peace.
Got another question for you.
I hope I can answer it better.
How much time do we have?
Until the executions start? Truthfully, I don't know. It depends on their progress identifying the members of the lynch mob and their impatience.
They don't report their progress to you?
Not on this matter. I'm afraid they consider this a personal initiative.
There's a brief silence. Seagulls squawk over the bay.
It's a matter of days, not weeks.
What was this about, a bloodbath?
Yes. I'm afraid this strike may descend into a small-scale civil war, with possible consequences for all of Rivershore West.
Since you are sharing, ma'am, this is also the RCM's worst-case scenario.
Then we're on the same page, as grim as it may be.
Yeah, that's enough for now.
I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask. More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
It remains a mystery what you mean by this something.
Glad to have been.
That's it for now. Okay. I have 2 points. How do I interact with this page? Sure. Okay, the insulating ocean. Okay, looking stickers in the fridge. This feels like the most important of all thoughts, the one you must really complete. Alright. Volumetric shit. Oh wait, how do I get the dude who took off his armor? Or his uniform? Subtracts. Oh, composure, legendary check of composure.
Give me a moment.
Thank you.
Hello again, officers. Have you come to admire my mural?
She turns hatred, disgust. The woman on the boat does not notice her staring. Ozon is an archipelago 2 days' travel away from.
On a first-name basis with her, are we? Piggy's moving up in the world.
Hold on, what's ozone?
It's where they grow whores like her.
Why all the negativity?
And they're whoremen. Have you got a crush on her? Aching for an opportunity to defend her honor.
What are you doing to the wall?
Can't you tell? I'm painting a... I haven't really started it yet. I'm wait...
Yeah?
Thanks.
You've lessened her desire to deface the
Catch you later,
building.
Cindy. Don't be afraid to say weird things. People are more forgiving of persons of power, like police officers. There's actually some good lighting effects. Wait, the agent still in here? No, no. Get me out of here.
The worn and beaten wooden planks of the bench do not look overly comforting.
We can sit on benches after we've solved the murder. Let's go.
I need to revisit the bench if you ever pass the time with Tinnick is gone. Okay. This will be open tomorrow.
Good day to you, officers.
Everything's still cool here, officer.
Give it to you for now.
Now it's turning into a kind of a snow limbo, man. What's on your mind?
Empathy. Anything increases empathy?
Now it's turning into a kind of a snow limbo, man.
Ease into it. Don't go too far. This seems like a personal matter.
What's wrong with you?
I'm okay, man. Just the jams got me down. The fumes, the chemical rainbows, the tarpaulin stretched on the frames and the dull engines off.
Maybe the full-on direct approach wasn't correct. Damn. A lorry, the smell of cigarettes and perfume and clothes.
Save it.
Right to work! Right to
You
work!
mercenary hired by Wild Pines?
You!
Hell no. I'm just an honest scab. I won't have talk like that around here. You understand?
Is there a tribunal being conveyed on any by any chance?
Fucking bomb.
Chest breathes out, his giant chest deflating, his mouth slightly open.
How about you fuck off now, huh?
Okay, of course.
The voice soothingly calmly looks at you.
There could be weapons aiming at us right now, somewhere above, in the buildings. The other merc. Don't push this, he's thinking. This is not the time.
Alright.
The man's breathing steadies, but his eyes are still narrow. Slowly, he's trying to get his right-to-work dance back on.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you?
The weasel I visited turns out he has one whale of the colonial mugs collection.
Yeah, the janitor who gave me the key to his apartment said the guy's a bit of an asshole.
Yes, his mugs certainly represents antiquated social values.
Like I said before, I don't know much about this weasel, but the bossman said he's a real piece of work. Thanks for helping out, friend.
Actually, do you know anything about the Hardy Boys?
Los Ardis? They're an independent militant group. A bit too high-strung, but it comes with the responsibility. They're sort of like you. Preserve the rule of law and all that. Except it's Everard's law. But really, they're just like you.
Is he actually comparing you, an officer of the law, to some neighborhood vigilantes?
There's only one law, friend, and that's me.
The man whispers a jaunty tune. A coastal breeze ruffles his hair.
The idea who killed the man. Alright. So we're back to Claire. Do I care to talk to this dude again? Metalhead?
Your race descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself.
Hanging out with the Hardy Boys.
I am not the first line of defense. I am the last. In addition, these so-called Hardy Boys are an effeminate clique of bodybuilders. Their company is spiritually degraded.
So you're all part of the union?
The Hardy manlets are on the pay of the company. I answer to the union alone. And I do this out of race heroism. Finance is an alien concept to the Simmon use. Now leave me be. I must luxuriate in the company of my woman.
Alright. Ever open this?
The file cabinet stands steady as ever, sliding out hundreds of and the same material. You already went through all of the drawers. The already familiar cold touch of plastic welcomes you as you pick up the handset.
Let your muscle memory dial a random number.
Your fingers run over the dial pad. 005. That's the dialing code for Revachol. 4952, and a moment of hesitation before entering the final numbers. 993.
Oh my god.
Calling. Calling. Still calling. Then.
Video Revachol, 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lamy. How may I help you?
The voice of a youngster on the other end sounds as enthusiastic as that of a man walking towards the gallows.
What is this place?
Video Revachol is a 24-hour video rental. We rent 8 and 10mm film for home use. This is Lamy.
You know me?
No.
I mean, what is this place to me?
Sir, I don't know. It's a video rental. Maybe you rent videos here.
Why did I call you?
Maybe you called to extend your rental period? Do you need to extend your rental
My name
period?
is Harry Dubois. Do you have anything on my name?
Let me fire up the machine. Dubois. Dubois. Here we are. You haven't rented anything in 5 years. but you still have a copy of Blue Ocean Hell from November '46. Whoa, not a fun film, that
What
one.
kind of film is that?
It's not an easy watch. After the death of his daughter and subsequent divorce, Ziemsk immigrant Egidius Wojcik tries to come to terms with the onset of dementia.
Oof.
No wonder no one's been missing it. Still, it would be great if you could return it to us. We're on the corner of Voyager and Main.
The call is terminated by the other party. You're left with the discomforting sound of the disconnect tone.
Am I a movie star? Beep, beep, beep.
This is the night watchman's booth.
If you must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously.
Let's get going. The entire
Go Garble, is that dude's name?
Mister. I knew you'd be back to talk with old Leo here. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's like Lady Lariche said when she opened a bathhouse in the basement of my apartment building. They can only get so far before they're aching to get back. And lots of folk really did keep coming back.
Future, can we keep these greetings shorter?
Sure, mister. Absolutely. I'm always willing to help out nice fellows such as yourself.
I'm out. Alright, let's talk to Everett. Gonna save, because I don't want to lose 20 minutes of progress again.
Mr. Dubois, every worker...
Leans towards you, waiting for you to complete a sentence. Is an organ in the great state organism of war also looks just like me? Every worker for himself? Is a member of the board?
That's right, Mr. Dubois. I see the socialist democratic fervor now burns in your heart, too. How can I help you today?
I've opened the door. You asked me. Can we discuss the murder now? I turned it off. Did Everett? I turned it off?
What?
The shady brew. You told me to make it shadier. I didn't. It had alcohol in it. Now there's no alcohol.
Did I? Well done then, Harry. I like not knowing about it, and I'm sure you made the right call. I spend the whole day delegating tasks, and it's a great relief to see people taking initiative. I don't even want to know what all of that means. Brew, shady, alcohol, turned off. I'm gonna let the world surprise me.
I opened the door you asked me. Can we discuss the murder now?
I'm very glad to hear that, Harry. One question. You didn't actually happen to stumble in and see what's inside the apartment, did you?
There is no way to sway this man in any direction. He is unsuggestible and unswayable. Just tell the truth.
I did go inside. The weasel had a flag of the old Revachol on the wall.
Exactly the kind of fascist memorabilia I was expecting. Weasel probably prays to it every night for the downfall of the Union. Now let's get down to brass tacks. It's time for men like me and you to figure out who's killed who and why. Real police work is gonna start happening now. I promise you, Harry, this is gonna be good.
There's a collection of colonial mugs there. I found a similar mug in the trash where the hangman's clothes.
Racist mugs in the trash and in the apartment? You guys are just light years ahead of me. I have so much confidence in the ability of your organization. I'm relieved you're doing this and leaving me to do what I do best. Helping people. With the power of politics.
Yes, yes. Do you think this weasel is somehow connected to the murder?
Oh, no. I don't cross paths like that. All I want is for you to succeed in your investigation. I would never complicate things for you.
But this weasel might have cleaned up after the killers.
Believe me, Harry, he's a nobody. Just your basement variety nobody. Can't imagine him being connected to a high-caliber case like this. But he does live nearby. Maybe it's a pedantic weasel. Fascists are known to be neat freaks. I feel like a real detective right now, Harry. Am I getting this right?
He imitates bashing something with an imaginary blow. More to police work than whacking an imaginary baton.
Of course, Harry. I'm not a real police officer. You are.
That's all he's going to say on this subject.
I've heard about a connection between the lynching and the strike. I'd like to hear what you would know about that.
By now, I'm sure you've figured out who the dead man was working for. The bad guys. Wild Pines. Sent to scare us. Another violent measure of the top hats against us flatcaps.
I'm listening.
Harry, this strike is the culmination of many, many mistakes made by the Wild Pines group. They tried to shut the strike down by sending in armed mercenaries.
You mean our victim?
A security contractor? Can you imagine that? Workers standing in peaceful protest, united in the spirit of fellowship, and they send hired killers to mow us down with machine gun fire.
He performs a motion as if spraying bullets from a machine gun.
No, he doesn't.
I'm talking beasts. Hardened killers from proxy wars in Yisut, Semenine, Saramaritsa, you name it, they've done it. Raping, killing, burning villages, killing little children for the Senorita Pineapple Company, Harry. Everything they did there, they brought over here. They want to turn Revachol into a third world slum. Honestly, the only thing they didn't do is kill the village elephant.
Go on.
Now, I haven't personally witnessed the brutalities out there. I have the luxury of staying in my container, you see. If I need to go somewhere, they just move my container.
Wait, they move the container?
Yes, I'm an old man, Harry. My legs aren't what they used to be. They lift my office with that big crane. It's actually very fun. You should try it. But enough about me and my fun container. The killers the company hired, I think there were 3 of them, all hardened commando types.
Okay.
One of them got downright suicidal, getting drunk, violent, a little rapey. Even their own negotiator couldn't control him. That's your boy, the one who likes hanging out and trees.
By negotiator, you mean Joyce?
Harry, what you need to realize is, we dock workers are not pushovers.
Yeah.
We got grit, Harry. This whole neighborhood does. Push us hard enough and we push back. And when we do, we push to kill.
The whole neighborhood is in on it?
Potentially, Harry, potentially. We got arm wrestling champions, rowing club people, ex-coal miners, tough guys, all ready to spring into action for their home base.
Who exactly did the pushing?
There's a militant wing inside the Union. A group of people whose duties don't involve manual labor, but peacekeeping in the neighborhood, making sure everything runs smoothly.
Okay. That sounds a bit like organized crime.
They're like you guys. Idealistic people who want to make sure bad things don't happen. And if they already have, well, punishment must follow.
Again, that sounds like organized crime.
So these idealists killed our victim?
One day Titus Hardy, leader of this peacekeeping faction, comes up to me and says, "Boss, socialist democratic fervor drove us to take it upon ourselves to kill this beast that was burdening the land."
Interesting.
He probably worded it differently, but that was the idea. Sure sounded to me like they killed him. I gave them 2 weeks paid leave and told them to lay low to avoid retaliation.
Aren't you worried we might arrest them for this?
Oh, I'm not at all worried about that. These are not the kind of men who get arrested. They're Martinez boys, tough and gritty. I'd like to see the man who takes them in. Besides, I sent my lawyer girl to look after them.
Yeah, we meant that.
If he's just boasting, then it sure doesn't feel like that to you. He's not worried. He places a lot of faith in that lawyer girl. Perhaps this is a tactical error. Anyway.
How do you know the mercenaries were hired by the shipping company? You mentioned a lawyer girl.
Oh, Liz is a bright one. I paid for that law degree myself, thinking it'll probably turn her all fancy. But hell, Harry, she came back a firebrand socialist. Sometimes she scares me with her zeal.
Tell me about Titus Hardy and his crew.
Oh, they are simply fine young men, all 7 of them. Exemplary union members, always working to advance their position in the local socialist democratic movement. Core members.
Core members.
Old Theo used to run them, but things really kicked into gear when Titus took the reins and named the group after himself. Gotta love his initiative.
Interesting. Who's second in command?
They're almost all of them great guys, born leaders. Whatever happened, I'm sure they only had the best interests of Martinez and Revachol in mind.
Sure.
Work with them. Hell, interview them. But don't fight them. They really are just like you. Men who like beer, women, and some order on the streets.
He's betting on them being useless to you.
Everett, I met the Hardys. Can you ask them to cooperate with me?
But of course, it's the least I can do for my good friend Harry. I'll do it right after we've concluded this talk.
Right.
You can now go and tell Titus about this. See what he has to say.
Also, Harry, here's 5 real.
Wait, why are you giving this to me?
I'm not giving you anything. I'm just holding out 5 real.
I don't need it. I only wanted you to help me with the Hardy Boys.
Oh, I wasn't offering it to you, just holding it out there. But I'm willing to share information. Was there anything else?
How do you know the mercenaries were hired by the shipping company?
How do I know? Let me tell you about these people. That's their MO. It's what they do.
What they do.
Last winter, some poor workers in Terminal E went on a little strike. The company sent in Sediment, a security contractor. The strike was over the workers' right to wear protective footwear, Harry. These guys turn up and start beating people. Tell you what, Harry, I wouldn't be surprised if we got the same mercenary company after a little rebranding. And I'm sure as hell not surprised to see an army of scabs under my gates.
Yeah.
So you believe the scabs were organized by the security contractor?
You said it. Hell, one of those guys looks big enough to take down that proverbial elephant. Boys like that don't just happen to show up during strikes.
I named the company as Krenel this time. It might have been Sediment before. Another question.
Absolutely, Harry. Absolutely.
Conclude for now.
Was it a good talk? I'm not sure we made much headway here. I was hoping we'd bust the case wide open. Heck, I even wanted to tell you what I really want to achieve with the strike. I don't know what happened, Harry. I wanted you to feel like Mr. Martinez. And of course, I also wanted you to find your gun. But it's like I can't completely trust you.
Yet?
Yes, Harry. It's like I can't fully trust you if you're not a man of the left. I want to, but I just can't.
A man of the left. So you have to be a social democrat. He's been hurt too much in the past by men who aren't social democrats.
You're right not to trust me. I just take care of me. I'm a hustler, a grind. I'm a money engineer. That's supposed to mean I'm more left than you are. This is another corrupt scream, isn't it? I'm neither left nor right. I do what my heart tells me to do.
You're saying it, but I don't believe you. You know how it is, company snitches, agent provocateurs everywhere. I'm barricaded in this fortress of mine, and I need to get a message out. Will you help me?
And what would this entail?
Once again, I require nothing unethical or illegal of you. You just need to get 2 little signatures on this piece of paper, and then mail it to my accountant in La Delta.
And what do you think of this?
It depends. I don't think what we just got from Mr. Clare was very useful.
Studies of art?
But, he thinks, it's your call.
As I said, it weighs on me heavily. But once we get really talking, well, I'm going to hand you the keys to Martinez. and maybe even help you figure out who's behind this killing.
What are the signatures for?
I'm glad you asked, Harry. The Union is going to build a modern youth centre in Martinez. It will be righteous. We're gonna get those teenagers off drugs and on roller skates. There's a nameless little street on the coast with some old houses around it. Most people have already signed. I just need 2 more signatures to get this mission off the ground, Harry.
Where's this place exactly?
On the coast, Harry, across the canal. There's a cul-de-sac there, a little village they're calling it. A gloomy place. You'll find it. I trust your detective skills, Harry.
What happened to the current occupants?
They are just going to have to deal with the construction noise for 6 months, and then they'll be living like kings. Right next to a fancy new youth centre, designed by the best architects from Stella Marie.
Fine, if I happen to be there, I'll ask them.
You bring joy to my heart, Harry. Such a pleasure to be working with you.
He
Here.
hands you the open white envelope.
You need to get signatures from Isabel Sadie and Lillian Carter. The cul-de-sac is right past the pawn shop and across the canal. I hear there is some trouble with the waterlock, but they should fix it by Wednesday morning. Yeah. Once you have the signatures, mail this to 13022 La Rocca in La Delta. Then I'll know you're a solid socialist.
I'm told the Union is involved in the local drug trade.
What? Harry, how could you say that to me? You know I appreciate a joke as much as any Johnny Fat guy, but I can't take slander. Are you actually investigating this? You've hurt me, Harry. Me, a friend. But you know what?
He perks up.
I trust you, like I trust all my friends. And I know you'll never talk to me about this again, because you don't want to wound me. So do what you want, and let's change the subject.
Thank you for your understanding. We will continue to do what we must.
You too, Lieutenant. You know, I like you, but you never were my favorite. I'm a Harry guy. I'm Team Harry.
Team Harry.
None taken. Do we have anything else to do here, Harry?
We'll go over a few details concerning the murder. Joy's the company representative.
Oh, that's very nice. I haven't gotten around to her yet. I'm very, very busy, you see. I hope you're getting along. One thing I want to make very clear, Harry, is that this is not some kind of union versus corporation situation. Everyone is just pals here.
Just pals?
We're all trying to do what's best for Martinez. Don't feel like you can't cooperate with her because you and I are such good friends and I'm helping you find your lost gun. I'm not a jealous guy.
Whoa, that's so nice of him. Suspiciously nice.
What happened to the previous negotiator, Mr. Gaumont?
What do you mean, Harry? Nothing. I let him go.
He made concessions for the company in previous negotiations. Why would you let an ally like that go?
He's an old man, Harry. I wanted him to spend more time with his family. God knows how long he's got left.
You called him a midget.
Harry, I have little people in my organization. I would never call someone a midget. What is this? Honestly, I'm beginning to think you're a midget, Harry. I'm only kidding, Harry. You're not a midget. No one is. We're pals.
Joyce said the previous union leader vanished under suspicious circumstances.
Vanished? Harry, the woman left her casserole in the oven and couldn't make it here in time for the voting. Oh, did I leave my casserole on? Better go home and check. The election can wait. When she got back, the whole thing was over.
Wait, there was no mention of a casserole from Joyce.
Funny, Joyce didn't mention any casserole.
Harry, Harry, Harry. Do not fixate on this little matter. Maybe it was a rabbit stew, or a hairdryer, or an iron. The point is, her heart wasn't in it. Mine was.
If it's spilled blood you're looking for, then there certainly isn't any in his expression or demeanor now.
Why haven't you let her in to see you?
If she actually wants to see me, she will find a way. Any good negotiator would. And I just don't have anything to discuss with a bad negotiator.
He doesn't want to see her. It's as simple as that.
Are you sure? I find it a little odd.
I'm just a nice guy, Harry. I wouldn't be where I am now if I wasn't nice. Politics is all about emotions, and I want you to have positive emotions when you think of me.
Okay then. Positive emotions it is. You like positive emotions.
Joyce, I met you.
It's perfectly okay. Even if you've told her everything we've talked about, it's absolutely fine.
I've heard Joyce seems to think the Union is lowballing her.
Yes, yes. Lowballing, of course. This isn't a casino, Harry. Real people, real livelihoods are at stake here. But everything's a casino for those rich types.
His expression makes it clear. This is childish and irresponsible behavior.
Let's talk about something else.
Of course, Harry. Let me just assure you one more time. It's perfectly okay to share anything we discuss here with this Joyce. This is a completely transparent organization. I have no interest in what she is doing, but I myself have nothing to hide. Your business is your business, and I respect your privacy. Just remember, none of this is secret. Tell her about all of it. My brother's picture, my singing swordfish clock. Tell her how overweight I am and how I'm helping you find your lost gun. Tell her about everything. Everett doesn't mind.
I'll leave now.
See you soon, Debardeur.
Right, back to the Hardy Boys. I need to spend another point. Did you have the 1 point? I don't know how many points I have. Any things I want to, your shit is apart. It's rather unbecoming of a human being. It's supposed to be the opposite. Together, compressed in a small area. People think communism was a crazy idea that had its comeuppance 40 years ago, a fever that shook the world, never to return again. They were right until he woke up today, a spiritual corpse, responsive only to the call of a Commodore Red, prostitutes, and cross Mazov. For him, communism is still a thing. He will single-handedly raise the commune of O2 from the oceanic trench where it's been resting, covered in ghosts and seaweed. He is the big communism builder. Come witness his attempts to rebuild communism in the year 51. Indirect modes of taxation? Cold-blooded? No, I'm not trying to become a magnesium-based life form. Now let's be clear. You look like you look inside containers. You like to open doors and see what's behind them. Maybe secrets, maybe more juicy containers. Let's be honest. You like all containers. Trash cans, utensil trays, manholes, coat pockets, secret containers left behind by the Philippian kings that hold forbidden relics. Okay, you haven't come across one of those yet, but one day. Wait, is that why you're so hell-bent on opening containers? You think you'll find the Holy Scepter in the Orb of de Montag? Do I want to be a communist? Get your shit together? Do I want to get my shit together? Sneaky. Pain threshold. I do have a second experience point. Do I want to get my shit together? I feel like I do want to get my shit together. Volumetric shit compression. Alright, talk to the Hardy Boys. Someone is habitually chilling next to the radio. I should talk to the proprietor. Oh, I want to read the envelope he gave me.
You take the legal documents out of the envelope, a 12 to 40 month construction period, and the zoning plan in the addendum.
Zoning plan?
The youth center cuts into the ocean like the bow of some great modern ship. Apparently, it's going to cover most, if not all, of the street and the square between the existing houses. It's 3 stories tall.
Stories?
It's going to be awfully close to the already existing buildings, almost wall to wall, practically integrating them into the youth center. This is either an ominous or cool architectural choice.
Just very close to houses, ominous shape. Try to find a loophole in the deal. And what do you think of this?
I'm no property lawyer, but it looks fine. I like the print size. They're not selling or leasing anything. It's not a perfect solution, but...
Try to find a loophole in the deal?
There is no loophole. The simple truth is, the current residents are going to lose their street access, and for the next 12 to 40 months, their lives will be dominated by constant construction noise right next door.
Look, Kim, point to the photocopy. These people are going to have to move out. Can we do something about it?
I should have seen it.
Franz reads the document over again.
Everard probably has eyes on us, but we could try to get other people to sign this instead of those listed. Or you could forge their signatures yourself. By the time he finds out, we'll already be gone. However, we'll need access to the coast before we do anything. Everard won't believe you got villager signatures if you can't even get to the village. You can try forgery as soon as we can cross the waterlock.
The youth center cuts into...
Yeah, my logic is pretty good. Bonuses from items. +2 logic, encyclopedia, -1 authority. Wait, what's giving me -1 authority? My glasses give me night. Oh. That nerd. No composure. Sable flat. Oh my god, why is it so hard to go down this thing? Talk to the girl behind the counter.
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything.
Bye then.
Looking for something?
Alright, I'm going. Okay.
can I help
Got the
you?
bill for tonight.
Got the 20 real?
Yeah.
Good. You got the room for the night, but remember, you'll need another 20 real tomorrow.
Heard I saw another thing at the whirling.
Another thing. Great. I love those.
Biggest blue door in the back of the kitchen.
Oh, yes, that door, sure. There's nothing mysterious about it. It's just a door.
And then never mind.
Yes. What else?
Good phone line.
Yes, and the phone company is taking its sweet time sending someone to fix it.
Pretty strange.
It's not strange, it's inconvenient.
It's true that there was foul play.
Who told you that?
Lena?
Fine, yeah. It looked like someone had messed with the wiring. It was shortly after the hanging, but I don't know if it's at all related. Plenty of assholes around here who aren't murderers. If you do find out who cut the line, though, let me know so I can forward them the repair bill. Yes?
The man ponders his cooking utensils and gives you a little nod.
Very masculine.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimpled lock. The cobalt blues. The door does.
Bye.
Oh, hello, dear. There you are again.
Thanks, ma'am.
It's you again. What is it?
Week when you first met? You never talked? Promised you'd cooperate?
Oh, so you went and talked to my mommy, and now she's making me play with you. Is that it, lawman?
Yep.
And what's gonna happen if we don't? You're gonna go and tell on us?
Why don't you push me more and find out, Gimp?
You gonna let him talk to me like that, Titus?
Will it hurt to the big man?
Let's see. Yeah, I guess I am, you big pussy.
Huh.
The old man sent word you'd be around again. That's the reason I'm being so forthcoming with you. Don't wear it out.
Ugh. 28% is probably what? 12, 11... 3 of 36? 12, no, it's 10, 9. 10 is 6 of 36. That's 1/6 is 16, so I can get a 9 or better. 11 out of 36. Yeah. Can I get a 9 or better on 2d6? Ooh. I'll take off now. Can make it an 8. I get. Oh yeah, what's killing my authority right now? My glasses? Get 2 signatures for Evart. Find Morale, smokers on the balcony. Everybody's home. Buy the Fallon pants from Kuno? There we go. Send it. Thankfully I saved right before I talked to them, right?
It's you again. What is it?
Starting from sit up and then in the far corner. On his, let's call size for in conclusion. Exactly.
The fuck is with you, fella?
Don't you cooperate?
Oh.
And what's gonna happen if we don't? You're gonna go and tell on us?
Push me more and find out, Gimp.
You gonna let him talk to me?
Let's see. The old man sent word you'd be around again. That's the reason I'm being so forthcoming with you. Don't wear it out.
I need a 16. I have 5. Oh, brings it down to an 11. And then I have plus 3, brings it down to an 8. I need an 8 or better. Can I get an 8 or better? Let's try.
Establish authority. Yes. Authority. Feverish thoughts race through your mind.
Damn, I need your gun. I think keeping this town together, going to hell, you're not helping.
And what exactly is it you've been doing that's so goddamn special? Shitting yourself in front of us. Going around, harassing kids on the street. Kids who've done nothing wrong.
All the while talking racist shit. Don't think we aren't watching, fascia. People here trust us. We're getting complaints.
You didn't say anything racist.
Of course you have. You've been calling people kip left and right, inciting race violence in my town.
Kylie said they've been trying to set up a race rally, whatever the fuck that means. Trying to get the kips out of Revachol before the economy goes to shit.
I care about all Revachol and its people, and if someone... And if some foreigner thinks... Oh, no. It's a lie.
Sure there is. Kylie said they're bulk purchasing confetti. Ribbons, too. And loudspeakers. And fireworks.
Works on...
Kylie works at the carnival shop, you see?
What?
Get the fuck out of here, you racist carny. There'll be no race rally in my town.
What happened? We got absolutely wiped. Let's go before it gets worse.
What's going on? Are you racist now? Is the rally real? Please don't set up any rally. It will make you look awful.
Let's see off now. Improve my visual calculus yet?
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held together by a clip, then made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner. It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held together by a clip, then made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner. The two sides of the board appear slightly misaligned, like a drawer that's come off its slides. If you bend the plastic on your knee slowly, the slides snap back into place. It should be possible to just,
slide the drawer open.
Without resistance or sound, the two panels move against each other. The compartment is now open.
Inside.
2 ticket stubs and a handmade postcard.
Pick up the ticket stubs.
2 octopuses are smiling, reaching their tentacles toward each other in the colored pencil drawings. The tickets permit access to the zoo in Revachol East. The aquarium costs extra. These let you go there too.
Pick up the card.
Thin wax paper has been glued to a piece of cardboard. Sounds like leaves rustling when you pick it up. You see violet flowers, floral patterns, patches of glue.
Open it.
Familiar handwriting lines the inside of the card. Looped, round letters in a woman's hand. A young woman in her 20s. There is care, effort, and a smile, you think. Although that is not something you can read from someone's handwriting. Harry, it begins. You're already reading. I wanted to write you a letter so you can read it when you wake up. Maybe it will make you happy.
Keep reading.
Your hand shakes, holding the card. Every morning when I step out and you're asleep behind me, it says, I find a little piece of sadness in me. I carry it in my chest, down Voyager Road. Every step I take, it grows. By the time I reach the fuel station, it has filled me entirely. I step onto the light rail and look back. Sparks fall from the bow collector. I know it will be like this until late afternoon, when I get off the 42 and walk back to you.
Keep reading.
You. Every step I take will get lighter. It almost makes me run. Sometimes I do. I can't believe I met you. I can't believe the happiness I feel with you. You have a vast, vast soul, and I will always, always, always come back to it.
Keep reading.
Kisses, kisses, kisses. You feel the air sucked out of your lungs and the blood sucked out of your head. Everything around you gets dark. Small white dots appear. You feel the ledger slip from your hand. No, hold on.
Hold on?
To what? There's nothing.
Detective, is everything all right?
All sideways. What?
There is nothing. Again.
Thing?
Nothing sad, brother. No treachery, just blackout.
Just lie there passed out?
Well, almost nothing. There is the ground below you, that's still there. And the small light that's on, fluttering, somewhere in the basal ganglia. That's me. Blue eyes, that's me.
Who was that?
Is it? The world is gone. You are no longer reacting to outward stimuli, yet still.
A bitter, caustic sense of loss remains. Even in the darkness, great sorrows slip in the water. Slimy.
Oh, that was cool, I'm cool.
The cool when you're dead, brother.
Here in the paleo-mammalian cortex, we call it the shadow. Because it's always there.
Tell him.
Ah, yes. In the olfactory system, they call it the apricot chewing gum scented one. It's unhealthy of them to linger on it so. But as they say, What do you do?
Not so nice.
It didn't smell nice. It smelled like betrayal.
There's Voyager Road.
There is no Voyager Road. There are no roads, no houses, no lights in the windows. It's all on pause.
The name appears to be Harry.
Your name is fuck all.
It certainly ain't Harry.
What is it?
Your name is passed out on the ground, dragged around by one of the other evil apes. They're taking you somewhere.
Is that the X something? The...
Bloated corpse of the past resurfacing.
Oh, it was beautiful.
Beautiful. Believe me, stupid ape. Its lack of beauty was not the problem.
Enough to just lie there motionless?
You think they would let you? Until you disintegrate into biomolecules. No. Someone is breathing on your face now, inspecting your pupils, stupid idiot.
What is it that it's called?
Yes, they're pouring something on you. It's in you. And
It's delicious.
Hello?
Glowing lights on a dashboard emerge out of nothingness.
Where am I?
In the upholstered cabin of Lieutenant Kitsuragi's motor carriage, seated in the driver's basket. The air is thick with leatherworks and heavy fuel oil. Cold water runs down your chin.
Drink. Water.
Drink.
The water is cold, silvery, the stuff of life itself as it pours down your parched throat. The pounding in your head recedes. The darkness parts.
Drink. You haven't drunk water in 2 days. Did you know the human body is not made to survive on alcohol alone? You need a secondary form of hydration.
You know, I'm actually more of a magnesium-based life form now.
With greedy gulps, you down half a liter of cold water. Some of it spills on the driver's seat. The lieutenant pays no heed to it.
What happened?
I should ask you the same.
You were reading your paperwork. Then you passed out. I carried you to my kinema to take you to a hospital. Then you came to.
How long was that out?
10 minutes, maybe.
I came into contact with the burnt ruins of the past, Lieutenant. I was dehydrated. It won't happen again.
That does sometimes happen.
Ledger of failure and hatred.
You dropped these. Are you okay to proceed?
Solve the case.
Good.
The Ledger of Failure and Hatred is a special item that can be used both as an interactable and a tool equipped in your held slot for skill bonuses. Find it under the Tools tab in your inventory.
Volumetric ship compressor. Bizarre scientific news from Revachol West today, where a police officer's shit has been observed at a pressure of around 495 gigadecimals. These metallic hydrogen levels of shit togetherness were thought to exist only at the center of collapsing stars, not law officials. It remains to be seen how long the shit singularity lasts.
-2 authority.
It's the ledger you found in the trash, a cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held together by a clip, then made complete by the faint smell of urinal cleaner.
Read a case file.
It takes about half an hour to piece one together, using the system you've devised. Which one do you want?
Couch in an unexpected location?
Some assholes brought their couch outside and hung out on it. In the middle of the street, on the roof, on the hillside by the motorway. You know, at an unexpected location. They were young, and they thought they looked cool on it.
It looked really cool, like a rock band.
Yes, as you've said here, insufferable rock and roll assholes. Young people are the worst. So anyway, you got a complaint about the damn sofa, or couch, or whatever it was. They were leaving it out in all these unexpected and whimsical locations. They took it to where they also took photos of themselves on it, and smoked cigarettes, and drank coffee because they felt it's intellectual. Cigarette butts, coffee cups, stupid couch. You had to clean it all up, and you did. So congratulations to you. Case solved.
Did you catch those guys?
No, you didn't have time for that. These notes show that you have what is called a real goddamn job. You don't have time to be chasing down the couch assholes. You have a real job to do. What
The
next?
unsolvable case?
AKA Leslie and Burke. AKA the public indecency drunk and the property damage drunk is a cursed case. It has been passed from unsuspecting officer to unsuspecting officer for 10 years. On January 29, the unsolvable case made its way to you. Why you accepted it, it is unclear. Every officer, and indeed most civilians in Jamrock, know it's unsolvable. Leslie will always take his pants off when he's drunk. Burke will always trash everything. It's just what they do. It is their nature. You cannot change the nature of a man, and you can't lock them away because public indecency and small-scale property damage are not punishable by incarceration. The only way for Leslie to stop flashing his genitals to bypassers and for Burke to stop dismantling signage and rear-view mirrors would be for them to stop drinking alcohol, which, in their 40s or 50s, it's hard to tell because of their distorted features, is a medical improbability on par with you ceasing to produce the expression.
We just cut them off, take them off the streets?
You would think that, but you're wrong. Where's the fun in exposing your genitals or breaking stuff in your own home? No, Leslie and Burke are on the corner of Main Street and Perdition, because that's where the action is. Can you keep yourself off the streets?
Yes.
Threatening fines, dragging them to the station, locking them up in the hellholes they live in, locking them up in the station, hypnotherapy, even trying to get the local gang of Zemyaki to take them out. The Zemyaki gave them ethanol, so Burke and Leslie would expose and rampage even harder. You tried it all, and still the complaints wouldn't stop, as they hadn't stopped for 10 years. It's plain to see from the files that you, Satellite Officer JV, and Special Consultant TH had more important cases to attend to. You uncover cross-reference to several ongoing investigations, each brought to a standstill every time you drive down Main Street, because there they are, on the corner of Perdition. And what is Leslie doing?
Leslie. Public indecency.
Good, you're learning. If the files are to be trusted, that's all there is to it. That and Burke breaking things, and the fact that they're both drunk. But then again, so are you. The case becomes considerably less comic one day when Burke takes a swing at your ledger. He must have it confused with the property he likes to damage. But the joke's on him. The officer is also drunk. Way more drunk than Burke there. And let's be fair, you also have party eyes. You slam the hardened plastic board in his face, then proceed to beat him unconscious with it. In the process, the ledger sustains damage. The compartment within, reserved for permeable documents, is jammed shut. You stop your assault on the now unconscious Burke to open it, but are unable to do so. The officer began to cry, reports Leslie, who, at this point, is tending to Burke. He came at us, and at us. I think he was trying to kill Burko. While trying to kill Burko, you slowly come around. The permeables compartment is open. You've smashed it open on poor Burko's kneecaps. The good news is, Burke can't walk anymore.
Whoa.
Can't get out of his apartment, an invalid. With Burke to tend to, Leslie cuts back on the indecent exposure. Maybe he flashes his genitals to Burke. Who knows? But both drunks are off the street. The complaints stop. The unsolvable case is solved.
Right.
Which is also why the officer responsible narrowly escapes a disciplinary hearing. The end. Do you want to read another one?
These files away.
Not much has changed in the meanwhile. A bunch of sodden papers still sags from the clipboard.
Put the ledger away.
Droplets of rain fall on the white on blue police livery of the motor carriage.
Wait, why am I thinking about this? Wasn't I supposed to...
Do something important? Something murder related? There's always something important. Doesn't mean you can't take a moment to admire this piece of machinery. Even at a standstill, the unibody Caprice Kanema looks sleek and dynamic. The cabin is tilted frontward to give it a more aggressive, hunched look. Someone has waxed it recently.
This machine puts the loco back in locomotion. Look at the vehicle, very cool. It's impractical.
Mm-hmm. You want to take a closer look?
Look to the engine. What's it packing? There... What in there made the infernal whining sound that woke me? Wow.
I reckon that's a 7-liter V12 there.
That's what? A 7-liter V12?
7.2. Supercharged.
Whoa. The lieutenant is trying to suppress a smug smile unsuccessfully.
Saying these words brings him immense joy.
Run your hands on the service.
Yes. An extraordinary machine.
There's gentleness in the lieutenant's voice as he runs over the vehicle's contours. An extraordinary machine.
It's nice and all, but why so modest? Put some zing into it. Flare it up. Slam it down. Helium headlights would improve the range and quality of the visual field a lot. It's a bit girly right now. Fit it with some proper off-road components.
Ever thought about switching to helium headlights?
Actually, I have a pair at home. Just haven't gotten around to fitting them yet. I need to lay some wiring for the ballast first.
You ever get this case solved, maybe we can do it together?
Maybe. Yes, definitely maybe.
What in there made the infernal whining that sound woke me up?
You mean the coil noise?
There's a coil noise?
When variable current passes through wires that make up the coils on the electrical system on this machine, it causes vibration in the wires and the cores of the coils. When the frequency of the current in the coils falls within the audible range, the resulting vibration creates the whiny sound you mentioned.
Whatever you do, don't make fun of the lieutenant for explaining this to you.
Such a binoclard? You know all that.
I have pretty much maintained my vehicles by myself ever since one was assigned to me. You inevitably pick up some knowledge on the way.
There's pride in there. A trained driver knows his ride.
Move on.
You see a set of tire tracks in the...
Fuck this coon, okay?
Fuck this coon, okay?
Keep throwing up and can't investigate the body at all?
Yeah, like a fucking volcano. Yeah. Fucking pathetic.
You were lucky you didn't die there.
Wow. Can you give me some advice? I mean, you're obviously handling it quite well.
Yeah. Kuno's got some advice for you.
He looks to his left, then to his right, then leans towards you.
What are you? Like 80, right? Maybe you should stop embarrassing yourself in front of a fucking kid.
Talk about your shack again?
The fuck do you want with it? Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom. The fuck about it?
Get lost!
Kuno's Kuno? You already know that slow shit.
How could I forget?
Kuno thinks you have brain damage or some shit. Kuno cares.
Kuno, stop being nice to the pig! Step away from Kuno, fat-ass creep!
Ease off, see? Don't be telling Kuno what Kuno can do. What else you want, Pigman? Kuno...
I like playing in the dark.
Keep talking to Joyce. Any more I'm gonna get out of Joyce?
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? Not an umbrella, I hope. I don't need one myself, you see.
Use a go like that, the rain's freezing.
Sadly, I need this one myself. It's hydrophobic, repels water, almost magically. The company makes them for offshore platform personnel. Very sturdy. What I can do for you is answer some questions. Nothing like talking to pass a rainy day.
Talk about the lynching?
Of course. Anything to help. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news. If there is anything else I can help you with, please ask.
I've been dealing with Everett again. Mr. Everett is helping me find my gun.
Oh. That's so helpful of him.
The lieutenant looks at you, and you can swear his jaw muscle is trembling. He's able to contain the anger and surprise. When I said be wacky, I didn't mean wildly, grossly irresponsible and damaging to the RCM.
Unconventional police officers sometimes lose their guns. They then go around and tell people about this to gauge their reactions. It's all part of detecting.
Incredible. Simply incredible. And how is it going? Has this detecting produced a gun?
Everett is helping me finding me. Mr. Everett says it's almost ready to be found soon.
Well, maybe he's not as helpful as you thought then. Is there anything else?
I felt bad. But I'm not going back that far. Asked me to open a door.
A referral, you mean? I take it this was for someone in the RCM. Don't answer that.
Yes, a referral.
Such referrals may sometimes get you information from a man like Everard.
Yep.
Did it?
Detective, I advise you to be very selective with what information you choose to share. This may have consequences beyond our line of sight.
Everard says the Wild Pine sent mercenaries after the Union, and now one's dead. Everard asked Union's militant wing to fully cooperate with the investigation.
Misinformation. This is all because we haven't shared information on the lynching yet. See? Already the adversary uses it to their advantage. Don't let him. Hurry up on that probe. The moment you tell me you're finished at the traffic jam, I will gladly tell you the company's side of the story.
She must really want you to look into the drugs. Otherwise, she'd tell you. She was worried for a moment that she's overplayed her hand by not sharing info sooner. Then she settles down, curious to hear more.
You didn't seem at all worried about the whole conflict that's developing?
I wouldn't have taken Everard for a saber rattler. Was he surrounded by Union men he wanted to impress?
No, it was more like he wanted things to get worse. In secret, of course.
He seems very sure of his ability to keep things in control.
Or he wants you and me to believe he's calm and in control. He's a politician.
Yeah, that's true.
There's always that risk, man. But if I may offer my opinion, he means it.
I think he may have been messing around with us. Seems right, I'm pretty sure he means it.
I'll think it over, Detective. Thank you for relaying this information to me.
This gave her pause. She's pensive, suddenly. Hard to say about what. Have I underestimated the Union's ferocity? She has to ask herself by now.
That's all I gotta say.
What you've said is quite enough. You've given me a lot to consider, and may have helped me prevent this conflict from escalating.
He asked me to deliver an envelope.
Sounds like he has you running errands, Detective. A well-established dominance ritual. Where did he have you deliver it?
Name a settlement down to the coast nearby?
Ah, yes. I've been meaning to go there.
Lives over the bay?
With longing. Clear and simple longing. Strange. Why does she want to go
You're
there?
fond of this village, are you?
I should be. In my youth, I had a brief dalliance here in Martinez. He was an older man with impossibly broad shoulders. He's probably dead by now. Even his shack is long gone. Not that it matters. These buildings are all carbon copies of one another.
You've been to Martinez before?
Yes, I was slumming it with some girlfriends of mine. We had boats and... Don't hold it against me. My paramour certainly did not.
Sounds like you missed those times.
Not overly so. It's not like this was the only place we visited. Me and my girlfriends from Azon with our shiny boats, like reavers. We told ourselves we were the worst thing to happen to the coast since the Coalition landed in '08. Imagine.
Tosses her head there.
She's sentimental, all right. You don't know enough about her to find out why exactly. She will keep her secrets for now.
He wants to build a youth center here for the children of Martinez?
A youth center with Edgar Clare's statue on top of it.
Her eyes run over the water remorsefully.
Go ahead. Help him. Make it so. I have no power to stop him.
You said you can't buy the place?
Yes. I'm sad I'll never have the time, Detective. I've always wanted a dilapidating fishing village.
She is more defensive about it than usual.
Full of ghosts and ancient memories. Has this errand yielded you any
I'm talking
information?
about something else now.
Of course, Detective. You can always drop by later, should something come up. Of course. Anything to help. I am sorry to have been the bearer of bad news.
Jamais vu. Derealization. Jamais vu. The opposite of déjà vu. Not already seen, but never seen. Everything that should be familiar appears strange and new, like some half-forgotten day in your childhood. Only now. That's the feeling you've been having. And for who knows how long. You should go and ask Joyce Messier about this. What world are we in? This is a fundamental question.
As with the little guy gets further and further away.
You're back. Good. What can I... More lessons in basic reality? My favorite part of the day. Go ahead, ask me anything.
Oh. Plus 12.
What is all of this? The scent, the sound, the air.
Also, I barely passed that.
What world? The only one, I suppose. The world of matter. And its pale antipode.
The camera of her mind glides over the surface of the
What do
water.
you see?
Great bodies of water. Forest-covered surfaces. Clusters of light where the cities lie. You've seen the montage. We all have. This world is enough.
She concludes.
There is a term of endearment they coined for it, in the DeLorean century, when humanity was high on this world, discovering more and more of it, these archipelagos included.
What is it?
Elysium.
Wait. Is that one with the evil apes? Elysium, the world needs a term of endearment.
It does. There are those who would call it
What
hell.
is hell?
A term of hatred that originates, like many such things, with the Mesk petro-fascists.
I think I got the whole picture yet.
Oh, you want a picture of the world? There is no complete set yet, dear. They're having some trouble reaching orbit.
Oh.
Great things are difficult to achieve. For now, we're viewing the world from the inside, sideways.
Inside sideways, what shape is the world then?
We used to think it was a sphere, but that is beginning to look less and less likely by the day. You wouldn't know it from the tabloids, but the ORG nations have been launching weather balloons into the lower ionosphere since the 30s.
ORG, Occident Revachol
Nice.
Guard.
There's a steadily increasing trickle of images. Between the big three scientific contributors, they're piecing together a dark grey corona.
Dark gray corona?
Yes. Pale covers 72% of the surface. There are grey flares and prominences, even arcs above entire isolas. The images are blurry, but if there was a sphere in there, it certainly looks like it fractured a long time ago.
A cold fear seeps into you.
Pale, what do you mean corona?
They say there is a rarefied envelope of matter surrounding the darkened disk of our planet. That is, if we are still living on a planet. Or, to speak more plainly, imagine vast swathes of land disrupted by nothingness.
What?
I am sorry, dear. It must sound quite terrifying through the acute encephalopathy. Even scientific positivism isn't entirely convinced about what we're dealing with here.
What?
But this is one of the greatest questions of our time. Maybe when they get the complete set together, it will jolt us out of our rut, bring us together, however naive it may sound.
Fractured corona doesn't feel like it's gonna bring anyone together. Then everything will be okay?
I don't know about things of that scale, My expertise lies in nations and trade routes, one or several layers below everything. But yes, you'll be fine. Don't worry.
She does not seem convinced that you'll be fine. If anything, she's realizing how deep your condition runs.
Certainly doesn't feel like I'm fine.
You have misimagined it. I don't have the power to convey to you the effect and geometry of the images that depict our world from below low orbit. It's like the crowning of the world. It's insane. Very disco. You'd love it.
Well, if you say it's disco...
See? Everyone finds something worth holding on to in this world, however wasted its opportunities.
Suddenly, you're conscious of yourself standing there, on whatever this all is. Your arms hang down by your sides. The lieutenant observes you both, silently. He adjusts his glasses.
You said pale. What is pale?
The pale is not, technically speaking, part of reality.
Yes. Also, I think we've had enough excitement for today. Remember, we have a cadaver to attend to.
His voice is low, but firm. All she can say is...
Of course, Lieutenant. Let's try something else.
I want to. I want to know what the pale is.
I don't think your colleague would appreciate that. He has already been so patient with this whole exercise. Let's continue with something else, all right?
He leans against the
You can
railing.
ask about anything else in the world. Anything.
You could sneak back later when the lieutenant is not here, unless you can convince him to step aside.
Volition. That's it for now.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little...
Volition. Keep your morale up? Oh. Give you some volition. Anything that proves volition? Probably drugs. Oh, I have a reason to leave Kim behind.
A crinkled chewing gum wrapper. The worn label reads, Tutti Frutti. It smells faintly of apricots, with a barely noticeable twinge of cinnamon. You feel compelled to point out that there's nothing fruity about cinnamon. It's a spice derived from tree bark. Can a used wrapper shrug? Seems like that's... You carefully fold the wrapper into a...
Hello again, esteemed.
Save it. Bookstore save.
The curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust, hang before you. Just as you're about to pull apart the curtains, the petrified voice of the shop owner cries out once more.
Sir, don't touch that. I told you it's off limits for the customers.
And closed around the pendant, her fingers nervously playing with the talisman.
Parapsychologically speaking, we're done if you decide to open them. I won't be held responsible for the consequences. It's too dangerous.
She looks away, mumbling. Why is everyone always messing with the curtains? Why can't they just buy books like normal people?
Is this about the curse? That's why you're afraid?
No, it's just a storeroom for the employees, I told you. Now please step away from the curtains.
Man, this is different. I'm a police officer. I need to get in there. Get the sense this place is calling to me. I must investigate beyond the threshold.
Why? It's not like anyone was killed there.
She stops abruptly with her hands flies over their mouth, baffled by her own bluntness.
I am sorry. I don't mean to be so impolite. Just please don't go there. I can't allow that. You'll only make things worse and unleash the powers.
The curtains do seem frail suddenly, not robust enough to contain a slippery darkness.
I have a sense this place is calling to me. I must investigate beyond the threshold.
You do? My God, even more reasons not to mess with the curtains. Just step away, dear sir.
I don't care. You can't stop me. I'll open them anyway.
No! Please just talk to me, officer. Come here and let's talk this through before you decide to do anything extreme.
There is something mysterious about the curtains. Be careful. The curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust, hang before you, as if taunting you.
The curtains for now. Alright.
Hello again, esteemed officer.
Why are you so uptight about those
welcome
curtains?
to
I want to know
crime,
what's on the other side.
romance, and I already told you, it's just a storage room for employees. I don't understand why it's so important to you. Just let it go, officer. Go buy some goddamn books. You're supposed to be drawn to the books.
Strange storage room, then why do you have a strange trinket on the curtains?
It's just for decoration.
She wavers under your gaze, mouth pressed in a tight lipped line, then something breaks.
Okay, fine. It's just because this place is cursed, just like everyone said. They don't call it the doomed commercial area for nothing. Are you happy now, officer? Happy that you've ruined everything?
Closes her eyes and starts mumbling something to her pendant.
Host of hosts, she prays. Guard me and my honest business venture from the curse that lurks behind the curtains. Take it easy. You've broken her resistance. Pushing her further will gain nothing.
And you tell me right away it's the curse? Have you sought help from anybody?
Yes, I've contacted numerous parapsychologists and even a pair of Simonese mediators. They provided me with the wards.
She nods at the strange cage-like trinket on the curtains.
The wards help to keep the doom at bay and protect us against the darkness that lies further in the building, even though now I fear it's not enough.
How does the curse manifest itself?
The curse is so much worse than you could imagine. It's a disease, eating at the very foundation.
A shiver runs through the woman. She looks around dimly lit store.
It's the curse of financial distress, of ruin and bankruptcy.
Peers at the curtain again.
Didn't that curtain just move?
Annette mentioned the previous tenants had experienced some financial troubles.
It's not just that, officer. We're dealing with something supernatural here. It's the cacodemons feeding off bad business practices and disappointing income statements. There's something wrong with this building, I can tell you. Ever since I arrived, I've sensed an eerie lingering presence, as if I was unwanted here.
Sounds familiar.
Feeling one or two, what does it mean?
Truly so? Perhaps the dark energies are leeching off you. You shouldn't stay in the store too long. It may be dangerous.
Why did you just tell me right away it's the curse?
It's not good to talk about the curse, not in detail. The negativism, it's dangerous. Talking about the void wraiths angers them.
Is your pendant part of the wards as well?
Oh, this? No, it's a special Himian amulet, blessed by desert pygmy shamans with a spell of compulsion. It's to compel people to buy books. There are numerous spells cast throughout the store. I had the books anointed with a different inducement spell, for example. It's guaranteed to boost sales 15%.
Doesn't seem like the spell is working. There are no customers around except you.
There are hardly any customers in the store. Do you really think it's working? Could be doing much more.
Sir, I am well educated in the commercial and esoteric arts. I know what to do and what to avoid.
You ever thought about a sale? Maybe lure some customers?
Discount my can see, sir, that you don't value books very highly.
I do.
Besides, this would only tempt the phantoms of doom. They can sense the desperation, you know.
Would you like me to take the case? I could investigate to see if the curse is real.
Most certainly not. I don't want anyone who's not familiar with the psychic arts to get involved in this mess. Stay away. Leave the spirits be, so they can return to their slumber.
Psychic arts? Sounds right down our alley.
Drama.
Time to fire up the old lie machine.
No. 92%. I don't want to say all that.
Yes, you do.
No, it's really stupid.
The woman looks aloof, her features much softer.
Dude.
Occasionally she glances at her daughter's silhouette.
Alright. Oh, something. This gives me bonus. No, minus is drama.
Hello again, esteemed officer.
The curtains, tattered with age and covered in dust. Just.
Sir, parapsycho...
She looks away, mumbling. Why is...
No, it's just a storeroom. What?
The curtains do seem frail.
You do? My God, even more reasons not to mess with the curtains. Just step away, dear. No!
There is the curtains.
Nothing.
Oddly enough.
Nothing.
Oddly enough, the more she tries to draw you...
Hello again, esteemed I would just it's just for decoration. Okay, are you...
Host of her... Take it easy. You've broken her, is it?
It's the...
Didn't that curtain just move?
There's something...
Sounds familiar.
Truly so? Perhaps the dark energies... It's not good to talk about the curve. Yeah, the ward... The curve. It's...
Didn't that curtain just move?
But officer, there's nothing natural about entire... There's something...
Sounds familiar.
Truly so? Perhaps the dark... Oh, there are...
Doesn't seem like the spell is working.
Discount... Besides, this would only tempt the phantoms of doom. Most...
Psychic arts? Sounds right down our alley. Slither up to her, you silver-tongued fiend. Show her what world-class perfidy looks like.
Ma'am, I can help here. I've handled paranatural situations before.
You're not lying. You're giving her peace of mind. The means are thus justified.
Are you sure? Don't think I haven't seen charlatans before.
I've returned from the void, a paradetective from a long line of paradetectives.
You're no paradetective. You look nothing like one. And you're clearly a drinker. Pardon me for being so blunt, but...
Hey now, hey. You need the booze to focus, all right? The lieutenant keeps his usual stony calm. He silently picks out his notebook. Go ahead then, rock her world, he thinks. I'll compose some notes.
Admit I've had my share of drinks, but only because the spectral realm is parapsychology taxing. You see, it's necessary to drink the spirits to avoid the contact with the void.
How do you know all this?
Here we go.
I'm the void revenant. I have the powers to debad all the bad energies.
I should have realized. A pattern lies within the fabric. The hand of fate guides us. Our meeting couldn't have been mere chance.
Yeah.
Perhaps you truly are the one to deliver this woman from the doom.
But I am not the only one at risk. I have to think of my daughter. You are certain you can help us? Keep us
No
safe?
problem whatsoever. Your family
I
is
can't
safe. The
allow any
Fentons are no
collateral
match for
damage to
me.
hit us. If you promise, good officer, then you might be our last hope. Do you swear it?
On my honor.
Thank you, sir. There's one more thing I haven't told you about yet. The entity.
Tell me about it.
Do not act surprised. You know of these things, sire.
Force the entity. Close your eyes, for I have sensed the presence.
You have? The entity takes the form of a woman, a witch probably. I've suspected that she must be connected to the curse ever since I first saw her. Did you know that she lives inside the chimney?
Chimney's the passage between heaven and hell, of course.
Yes, that chimney is part of the building's central furnace, and it's enormous. She has barricaded herself behind some metal security curtains. God knows what she's doing there. Some unnatural magic, I assume. You should go find the entity and ask what happened to all the companies in the building. What is the source of this curse? Here's the key to the warded door behind the curtains. Take it. Oh, and please do return to me after you've looked round. I'm quite anxious to know what she has to say about the curse. What you discover in there.
Unbelievable darkness and ruin. What you discover? Probably just some office space. Don't be scared.
Okay, but please, only a few questions.
The woman looks
For now, farewell.
You see a set of tattered curtains blocking the way to another room. A strange cage-like
Well, the
trinket.
drink's open.
You see a dimly lit room full of dusty furniture and trash. A doorway stands in the back, covered in dozens of scary little cage-like trinkets, your shadow looming over it like an omen.
Oh!
Escapes from pit. She tries her best to look away, her round face buried in her hands. Saving! Those silhouettes of hair dryers. Vaguely androgynous portraits of a man. Merely look at any of the unmanly haircut threatens your masculinity.
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of little oddly shaped trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked.
Knock on the door.
Only an echo. No one is there. A hollowed out, dark echo.
I'm going to improve my pain threshold.
A heavy door with a missing handle stands before you, covered in dozens, if not hundreds, of little oddly shaped trinkets and charms. It appears to be locked.
I'm an idiot.
You smash into the wood and see a small crack appear on the door frame. It's going to take one more try to break through to the other side.
You're not thinking of trying again, are you?
Freeze, dirtbags. Fuck, it hurts. Smash into the door again wordlessly. Have to roll again? Sometimes you just gotta be a little crazy.
What is this place?
Looks like a gym to me.
Yes, but no one's been here in ages.
There's a stripe on the dusty floor with his foot.
I doubt the electricity still works. Good thing we have a flashlight on us.
Some specks of dust shimmer in a ray of streetlight falling from the window. Other than that, The room is dark. An eerie feeling rises in your chest.
I wonder if there's a reason why no one's been here for ages. Nothing mysterious here?
Sounds good.
And is dripping from a punch bag? Shot put ball? Oh, hey. What? I get a... Oh, I got XP. Or did I just want to put one in? Oh, volition. Smells like leather and sweat.
A barbell lies on the floor. The color has worn off its weight plates. It's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights. Show the world what kind of beast it's dealing with. Lift them. There are no collars on the barbell. This is a safety hazard. Why does it feel so familiar?
Is familiar because I'm a weightlifter? Again, look, it's a trap. There's no collars on the barbells.
You're right. The weight may fall off. Better not touch it then.
What kind of bastard would just remove the collars? It sounds like a felony.
It would be a violation of EPIS safety regulations if the gym was still operating, but it isn't. No one's supposed to come here anymore.
Is familiar because I'm a weightlifter?
No, it's not that. It's the stale smell of rubber, the squeaky sound of sneakers, your bruised knee against the mat, and a whistle. Then the feeling is gone. It's just a memory.
Yeah.
A memory from another life. When you were young and fit.
Goodbye. No wall bells. It's safe. It's blocked by old window panes and debris. John full of strange liquid. Save it. That stares you in the dark and stuck you mounted. Your ship rudder's covered in spiderwebs that remain. You have blades. But the remains of a 24-hour window repair shop. Your mannequin torso, strange yellow color. Oh, $3. Blue velvet, soft to touch, moth bitten. Semas, Altier. Hey, more money. Rollerblades bearing Slipstream logo. Something? You like crisscross filaments and fragile hand. Indicated structure covered in dust. Silver tape on the side reads production schedule and note. Filament contains information that can be read using a radio computer. These from Slipstream printed on a laminated top layer. Close if used as a display.
Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches, and schemes, like some ancient cave mural. Some of the writing has faded with age, but you can still make out sections here and there. Photos and drawings have been pinned to the board.
Inspect the schedule.
This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Cryptic words like sprint, daily minimi, and GPI span the marker-drawn grid, the grand scheme of production and money. It looks a bit like an academic calendar, only much more brutal. Minimi stands for a mini-meeting. It's part of a bigger framework for managing work called RUN. Station 41 tried to implement it a few years ago, but failed.
Keep reading what happened.
As time goes on, the numbers in the boxes grow rarer and rarer. The board becomes an empty snowfield in the final days. Only failure and regret dwell in this region.
Looks like they didn't make it.
Lieutenant looks at the frigid ice field of nothingness.
A note in the bottom left corner of the chalkboard says, "See the prod schedule filament for
The
details."
drawings.
These lithe, pointy-eared creatures appear to be different types of welkins. You make out autumnal candle welkins casting wax-based magic. Translucent welkins with organs shining under their skin. And even ether welkins hailing from the vast emptiness of sidereal space. Who are all those creatures? Fantasies of a tortured, feverish mind? One of the welkins, towering among the rest, appears to be different, however.
Examine the welkin. This is important.
It's Vara Hamira, a high welkin.
Is it?
His face white and scarred like cracked marble. This is clearly a welkin supremacist. The note says, all non-welkin races will be purged.
What?
The Haldor, the Tworg, the humans, and even headless men, all of them, purged. Imagine a world filled only with welkin, green welkin, dread welkin, and the high welkin to rule them all.
An inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little welkin creatures.
Why did someone spend so much time on this?
Some people really like building a world, I think, even if it's just for a game.
Who are these creatures? That feels a little bit reflective. Who are these creatures? Who drew them? Are they real? I have so many questions.
This looks like concept art for a project. It's not really real.
One of the Welkins is a supremacist?
Mm-hmm. Political commentary. That one has a great beard, too.
Oh, is it the Welkins facial hair? Oh, this has been educational. Let's move on from Welkins.
Just look at those details. So much effort.
And for what? All gone.
Inspect the photos.
The photo collage depicts barren, icy landscapes wrapped in perpetual night. You see permafrost and glacial landforms, dead trees grown in under the entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. There are pictures of settlements on dried up riverbeds, abandoned in a storm. Animal corpses in the dark, carcasses and bones. You see primitive oil rigs built into glaciers, boreal dvorg, yurts under the snow, great mammoth-like beasts of burden. Albeit dark and cold, this vision also feels cozy in its own way, like eggnog or morphine, a much-needed respite from our own world. A pinned postcard reads, "The heat death scenario. A desperate fight for geothermal energy engulfs the world as Wirral becomes untethered from its sun, drifting through the universe."
That's the board game that she has.
The handwriting is only partly legible, but you can still make out 3 slogans: Call in, Tune Out, Wirral Untethered, and Heat Death of the Universe. The full text reads, "Heat Death of the Universe is the new black." Another note says, "The biggest advancement in role-playing systems since the 30s.
They're inventing a video game.
This appears to be some kind of machine with a cube-shaped heart and a wired framework. The keyboard has a rectangular on-off button. A piece of paper still hangs from the printer.
A radio computer. Just sitting here without anyone inside.
On the machine.
The machine lights up like some prehistoric animal stirring from its slumber, revealing fluorescent play and print keys on the keyboard. The hatch on the machine's central compartment is wide open.
Look inside the compartment.
It's empty like a beehive without its brood. Some cables have been left dangling, disconnected. The filament you have would fit perfectly inside the compartment.
Insert the production schedule.
Like a smooth draw, the filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key starts blinking.
Leave. The Warcraft Notebook developers of the most advanced RPG in the universe. Okay.
This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker, the mesh spreading over the stone like blood vessels on alabaster skin. It looks ghostly and and strangely
What am I
ancient.
looking at?
Radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123.6, UKV 123.7, UKV 123.9.
Written notes.
Some written notes,
Sparse,
too.
cryptic.
Sparse and cryptic.
Radio frequencies for what?
Unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced.
Of course, narrow your eyes. The anatomy of the curse.
Perhaps. The web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart, titled the Game Master Frequency. A note says, this one can listen in on any station it
Wait, who's
wants.
the game master?
Someone very important, the leader of a massive on-air game built by these people.
It's a game, then who's playing?
Whoever decides to call in to a call-in station, it looks like.
Interesting. Oh, they play over the
A list
radio?
of
That'd be kinda
names
cool.
under the stations suggests people across 6 Isolas would be playing. Muindi, Insulinda, Kotla, Grad, Samara, and even Il Mara. All of this is gone, left unrealized. There's no way a little basement studio working here could pull anything like this off.
My God. It's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project
How do
became.
you say that?
The schedule. I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
What else squinted the lines?
Nothing. It's just lines on marble. An echo from times long gone. No one has used the fireplace in ages. Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow. Fluorescent play and print keys shine on the keyboard.
Press play.
A bar of fabric right above the keyboard starts producing a soft hum. The sound of static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic.
Would you like to play a game?
Have you stirred the ghost of the doomed commercial area from its rest? Could this be its dismembered heart beginning to flutter?
Huh.
The static gets louder, slowly filling up the abandoned hall, until a voice speaks out, crackling and old, cutting into the air.
Good evening, Fortress Accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. This is East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule?
What are you, a machine? Are you alive? What is the production schedule?
The filament you have inserted into the reader.
Alright, thanks for the explanation.
That was a question. Have you inserted it into the core?
Yes.
Good. Please repeat the password.
Password. Of course it would have a password. That's why there's a human administrator involved. You should ask her for a hint.
Give me a hint?
No.
A hint system is not part of the protocol for repeater stations.
Is the police thing open? Please open this thing.
I am contractually obliged to protect the privacy of the filament holder Fortress Accident. Without filing a warrant with Lintel, I cannot give you access to this filament.
I'm afraid we are not doing that, unless we want to wait for a month.
Now, can you please repeat the password? Received. I will register this login attempt.
Don't worry. Passwords have a way of turning up sooner or later.
Fortress Accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today?
Why did you call me Fortress Accident?
Fortress Accident is the company on whose name the terminal you are currently using has been registered to.
Do you have any other information about this company?
One moment. Fortress Accident SCA produces revolutionary interactive call-in radio games. That's what the catalog says.
And that's what this interactive call-in radio game.
Any other questions?
Are you a machine or are you alive?
Yes, I am alive. I am 74 years old and my name is Yvonne.
She repeats passwords. programming people are all paranoid.
My partner tells me that you're here because radio computer games are all paranoid. Where are you? Where are you? How do I know where I am?
I work as a repeater at the East Insulindian repeater station. It's my job to know where you are, Fortress Accident.
Right.
As for me, well, I am sitting in my cubicle, surrounded by a wall of radios.
Doesn't it get lonely, sitting there all by herself?
Does it get lonely doing this job?
Lonely? Why would it get lonely? I get to talk to people all day.
That's why she does this.
Now, please tell me if there's anything else I can do, Fortress Accident.
That's it for now.
Thank you, and goodbye.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow. Fluorescent play and print keys shine on the keyboard.
Press print.
Nothing happens.
Leave.
Okay, what do you think is going on with that computer, chalkboard, and fireplace?
Looks like we uncovered a counterintelligence program. Looks like a failed business. The only question is, what are they making?
Yes, that is the question.
He step back, steepling his hands.
It looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games, only these people were trying to automate it, make it work on radio computers.
Utter madness, he thinks, as a compliment.
And this was a roll. Anyone done this before?
Not to my knowledge. They make automated games in Graz, Messina, Königstein. You know, places with industry.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone has attempted to create an inter-isolary game before. We just don't have the technology.
How are they planning to do that?
Through call-in stations. None of the players have to be physically present. Anyone in the world can participate in the game, as long as they have a two-way radio.
Yeah.
Then there's the game master frequency that listens in on the smaller call-in stations. I think that was supposed to coordinate the stories, functioning as a master of ceremonies of sorts.
His fascination has swept aside other concerns for the moment. He's a little hooked.
And this was a role-playing game?
Indeed, those Welkins are a dead giveaway. Role-playing people love that stuff. The world looks like a modified version of the WeWorld board game, with hit death thrown in.
What do you think happened to the company?
No idea. They stopped filling out the schedule on the chalkboard.
Conclude.
Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but...
It's just a play to cheat money out of their investors' pockets. Well, it's Conan Maloney. This could help keep a company. Let's finish it.
It's too late for that, I'm afraid.
He says, looking around the derelict room. Pipes howl and a rat crosses the floor.
Okay, let's keep moving.
All right. A bear?
You see a terrifying ice bear with a strange compartment in its belly. The door is covered in frost, and the bear's eyes are glowing red. The bear looks oddly realistic. Is it taxidermy?
What's this thing? It looks like a giant ice bear. Crack open the door.
A gust of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. You hear a low grumble as the bear regulates itself. This is the inside of a refrigerator. The lieutenant takes a peek inside. His hand has found the holster of his gun.
Relax, Kim. It's a fridge.
Of course, just a giant ice bear-shaped fridge.
He relaxes his hand, his face bathed in the harsh light of the open fridge door.
Let's take a look inside.
To the fridge.
The shelves are empty. All you see are crumpled ice cream wrappers with the brand name, Revachol Ice City. A handwritten note has been attached to the door. The fridge is huge.
Take the note from the door.
You pocket the note and the little fridge magnets keeping it on the door.
It's in one of the ice cream wrappers.
A friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you from a glossy cellophane wrapper. It looks nothing like the fridge. The paper still smells of vanilla and chocolate.
What is a giant ice cream fridge in an abandoned cellar in the first place?
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge.
Lieutenant reaches out for one of the wrappers. He studies it in the light. So they tried to sell ice cream from his hyper-carnivore?
I know. What an unfortunate marketing choice. What is even worse, the bear is still costing them money to this day.
Lieutenant points at the red, snaky eyes running from the fridge.
The fridge buzzes with energy. The electricity bill on this thing must be catastrophic.
Close the door. Walls collapsed and seem inaccessible now.
A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black. Looks like this furnace has a face, and it's a face of agony.
And what is this thing? It looks like a furnace.
Looks like it. Looks like an old central furnace used to heat the building. It's connected to the chimney. No one has used it in ages. No signs of any recent fire. Only dead rats.
Look inside the furnace.
It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness you can hear chatter. It's coming from above. A voice or several voices talking to each other. Near the smoke chamber, upstairs, the echo is so prominent, it's impossible to discern what the voices are saying or what's producing them.
What are you doing?
I'm not sure, Kim, but I think I can hear someone talking upstairs.
Wait, really? We should investigate, see if someone's upstairs.
Hello?
Something breaks loose in you. A mighty bellow echoes throughout the chimney's depths. The chatter of tiny voices above suddenly cease. Then,
Hello? You're a woman's voice answer.
you've awakened the entity.
Hello, are you there? Speak to me.
Hello? Did you say anything? I can't hear you. Please come upstairs. There's a safety curtain on the second floor. I'll open it.
Right.
You hear a low rumble upstairs, the sound of a curtain being pulled aside.
After you, officer.
Take it with your foot.
A hollow ring echoes through the furnace. Your toe hurts.
Oof. Smear your hands with coal? Why would I do that?
A lush layer of coal now covers your skin, sinking into the wrinkles. Your hands look ancient. You feel the spirit of Ramut Karzai, ancient hero of Grad, pulsing through you. All that's left is to cover your face in war paint.
No, let's not express ourselves. Let's wipe our hands clean on our pants.
Yes, how grown up. The furnace agrees. The lieutenant seems relieved as well.
Leave. Screen maker defrosted and unplugged. Flashlight casts a strange shadow. There's a hidden doorway here. Two rusty rifles are hidden above the piping. They look inoperable.
A few bricks have fallen off, revealing a compartment behind the wall. It's too dark to see in.
Where are we? Look around the secret room. Oh, there's a hole in the wall.
There is, yes. And there also appears to be something inside the hole. Interesting. Do you want to take a look?
Okay, I do.
Your hand reaches deep into darkness and spiderwebs. Rummaging around, you find rusty rifles hidden away.
Rifles, Kim. Inspect the rifles.
Most of them are rusty and inoperable, like the rest, but one catches your eye. A bolt-action model with a fine wood stock, in better cosmetic order than the others. Take it. You're a police officer. Police officers carry guns.
This looks nice. Take the rifle.
That's a rare sight. Seems to no longer be functional, but still a beautiful thing in its own way.
Where are we?
Seems like an old bunker from the revolutionary period. Look at all those rifles. Must be an old weapons cache.
What does this mean, a rifle here?
It means there are firearms, albeit inoperable, still lying around in Martinez. It's an interesting coincidence, I would say. Might come in useful in the future.
He likes this find.
Oh. I'm gonna stuck some busted guns beneath the ceiling. A written note from the fridge.
The note is written with a blue pencil on a piece of lined office paper. The kitchen magnets have left spots on its surface.
Does it say anything interesting?
Lieutenant leans closer to read the crumpled note over her shoulder.
This is tangential at best, but the lieutenant's detective instinct is still
Read the
active.
note.
Someone has scribbled, S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the studio, so I had to hide it somewhere safe. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP. It's important. I'd do it myself if I lived in a civilized place with a freezer. Take care, Sully Swaff.
I wonder who wrote the note.
Looks like someone from that radio game company upstairs. I'm a little surprised they just left their property lying here.
Maybe they had to leave in a hurry?
That's a plausible hypothesis.
What's a filament memory?
It belongs inside a radio computer, storing its memory. It's like a tape. You listen to disco tapes, right? It's like one of your disco tapes, only for a computer.
Do you have an idea where the frozen ice cream maker could be?
I don't know. I assume it's somewhere close to the ice bear fridge.
Another way.
The bear's eyes are still glowing red. What? You feel something in your chest, an unnatural pressure. It's spreading to your left arm, your jaw.
Yeah, so I'm guessing this is bad?
Very, very bad. This is the end bad.
Ever made conscious?
All you feel is pain and weakness. You have to surrender now. We all do. It gets so dark. You don't even see her face. Like you always thought you would. You only see pain and fear.
Cop suffers fatal heart attack?
Cop suffers.
Thankfully I just... My life is being maintained by this yellow coat. What do shivers do for me? Raise the hair on your back and tune into the city. There's an ice cream maker that's still running?
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top and an electric freezer that appears to be frozen shut. Turning the crank feels oddly satisfying, like stirring your childhood dreams. In the distance, you hear water dripping. It's all gone now. You'll never become a poet or an entrepreneur. What better to assuage the creeping sense of failure than some frozen fat and sugar? The bear's eyes are still glowing red.
My bar not strong enough?
Two cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge, and the black one to the ice cream maker nearby.
Unplug the giant red.
An electric sizzle. The room is slightly quieter now.
Unplug the black cable?
Something close to you dies with a soft electric purr.
Why did you do that?
Black isn't like the red one?
The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything. The electric distribution board now has one cable missing. This orange machine is dead still. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner and an electric freezer. The ice around it slowly melting. Both cables are unplugged from the breaker box. Somewhere, a machine hums along with the... Somewhere in the dark, a giant...
Manual turns alive. Oh wait. Money. Same mesh tank top? Drama. Going upstairs? Vishal Orenya.
An old call box with a matrix of push buttons lists East Delta Commerce Center. This must be the name of the doomed commercial area. You ring the doorbell, but no one answers. You ring the doorbell, but nothing happens. You wait for a minute or two, but all you get from the call box looks like someone has melted half the plastic. Silence. No one's home at Fortress Accident. Silence. No one answers the doorbell. Nothing happens after you ring the doorbell. They don't want silence. No one answers your call. This button looks...
This button looks new. It's probably not connected yet.
A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black. It's dark. The echo is so...
What are you doing? Wait, really? We should investigate, see if someone's upstairs.
This old fireplace is covered.
Lord's Creek. Hey. Trays full of dice, colorful polyhedral, hundreds of them.
Hello, I'm Nia.
Bird-like woman sits on the throne of tools, the emerald light shining through her hair.
Did you try knocking on my window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Melius.
Grabs on her headphones.
So what kind of die are you looking for?
Oh.
Could this be the malicious entity? Perhaps it's wise to go along with this masquerade for now. She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching.
Hold on, what do you mean by Milias?
Yes, a Melia is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these. Mostly, they just teach you to swear in different languages. But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking.
You must have confused me with someone else I haven't knocked on your window.
Then how did you get inside? By the south entrance? You know what? It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you're finally here. Let's talk dice. Did you have something specific in mind?
Ask me about dice.
I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here, yes?
Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
I like role-playing games and I need some dice.
Very good. My rate is 10 real per set, unless you want something really unusual. Take a look around and see if there's any particular stone you want to use.
Walls around her are covered with rows of precious stones and materials.
This person means you, or no one else, absolutely no harm. She will answer freely and honestly.
How did you become a dice maker?
How did I become one? It was a business decision. I was a regular jeweler at first, but that's an unfocused field with too much competition. Some of my friends were role players. They asked me to make some polyhedral dice out of cobalt. That was my first order. I grew it from there.
Do you like role-playing games yourself?
Not especially. I like working with rare materials and a steady pay. And role players as customers? They're nice people.
Yeah.
She's thankful for the security they provide her.
What do you know about the man that was lynched behind the whirling rags?
Nothing really. I didn't know him.
Who cares about the dead body? We might be dealing with a malignant entity.
Shut up, you!
The lieutenant looks at his notebook. Then the woman under the large window.
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening?
I'm sorry, detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window.
What do you mean by daily ruckus?
Well, there's always something going on in the whirling's backyard.
Perhaps to try and come up with an example.
During daytime, there are usually those kids. And lately, I've been seeing a lot of drunk workers hanging about. Must be because of the strike. But I never saw anyone during that fateful Sunday night, I'm afraid.
And you never took your eyes off the window to look at... never took your eyes off your work to look out the window?
I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring back from the darkness.
It's light here, but dark in the yard at night.
It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look out the window when I'm in the zone.
You often work Saturday nights?
It's an odd profession, making dice for people, but I like it, and I prefer doing this to sitting at home.
See, thank you for your answers.
She nods.
Anything else, officer?
Where are we anyway? What is this place?
We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know.
She looks at the sturdy brick wall, makeup on the wall, even though they've been repainted. There's still signs of black soot here and there.
But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus.
Plaisance was right. There's an entity living in the chimney. You should ask her about the curse.
Create here.
So I heard this place is cursed. Did you have the people call in the doomed commercial area? You know what happened to the other tenants? Everyone else is gone.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
Just the yellow scarf that covers her hair.
Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind.
There used to be a hair salon here, right?
Yes, I think it was called Androgynous Orlando or something similar. They weren't
Weird
a
name.
big hit around here. Turns out that working class men don't like genderless haircuts. They're scared of that word.
It's not about the haircut. It's about the confidence.
So with a bit of experimenting, the customer should have been more open-minded.
I guess it just wasn't the time yet.
What happened to the gym?
It wasn't merely a gym, it was Artemiteps Boxing Club, a community project created to steer at-risk youth away from drugs and crime.
Who was Artemet?
A kind man from Zemsk. I heard he had some trouble with the law when he was younger, and that's why he wanted to start the gym, as his way of giving back.
Maybe that's what Kuno needs, a community-centric boxing club.
Kuno. Who's Kuno?
A little ginger gremlin who likes to defile dead bodies.
Oh, you mean the kid with the sailor's mouth? Yes, I've heard him yelling profanities in the backyard.
Looks out the window, face reflected back in the dark.
I think it would take more than a gym to help that kid.
How did the community projects work out?
It didn't. If anything, it made the youth situation in Martinez even worse. At some point, someone started a rumor that the punching bag downstairs was full of amphetamines.
What?
You should have known it. It's not really full of that. No one would store their drugs like that.
Eventually, the coalition took away the funding and the club went bankrupt. This was a few years ago. It's gotten much more peaceful around the plaza ever since.
What with the broken windows?
Oh, this one's a mess. There used to be a company that promised to repair windows 24 hours a day. What could go wrong with this one, right? Turns out, the business was actually set up as a front for an illicit group that was producing snuff milias. Who would have guessed?
What's the snuff milieu?
And they never cleaned up the debris either. Now it's just littering the hallway and I have no idea how to get rid of it on my own. It's a sub-Rosa radio station that broadcasts real murders with real victims. Some people pay good money to get off on it.
What does she mean, to get off on it?
Don't worry, the ICP has a separate division that deals exclusively with unlicensed sub-Roses. This isn't our problem.
Good luck with that. It's not easy catching those perpetrators.
Someone makes stuffed animals and saw mounts lying around.
You mean Mr. Fabron, the taxidermist? No, he mostly just did drugs.
But what drugs exactly?
You know what drugs he's doing for my police report?
He got high on some weird taxidermy chemicals. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Eventually, they caused him to lose control of his bladder. The smell was awful.
Ugh. Even you can probably do better than that. You can almost see it. A small, sickly old man, hunched behind his work desk, his pants stained with old piss, stuffing a sad, stiff-legged raccoon dog. The entire scene looks tragic.
Sound creepy mannequins.
There used to be a fashion atelier here, but I have forgotten the head designer's name. They were doing well for a couple of years, until the insect rights activists came.
I didn't know insects had rights or activists.
Yeah, the atelier didn't know it either. They produced a certain collection that used chitin among the materials. Apparently chitin is made in the Occident, where it's extracted from beetle wings.
Interesting.
And you know how all kinds of political movements are big in the Occident. The activists shut down the biggest chitin supplier, which of course caused the price to skyrocket. And, naturally, all the most fashionable tastemakers refused to be seen in chitin from then on. The atelier went bankrupt before they could finish the collection.
I'm glad someone took care of the little guys. I like insects. You know what they deserve? Making a terrible idea? Insects don't have any brains or feelings.
Really? Anyway.
Poor guy. Suddenly, you get a feeling that insects are important to the case somehow. It's hard to say why.
With the rotor blades and skis?
They were made by a company called Slipstream. After they pivoted from making rotor blades to skis, their chief executive took off on a vacation with all their money.
She rests her chin on her hands with an impish smile.
Honestly, I think it's quite funny. I think he's still sending out holiday transmissions from Tulula or Tiumutiri or Hashtkor or wherever he is.
It's illegal, and they've been arrested.
Sure, it's illegal, but it's not exactly anything extraordinary in business. Besides, Slipstream is history now. All their remaining assets got seized by the bailiffs in 47. I have no idea why those skis and blades are still lying around.
They were just the props. Why return them?
I'm a strange machine.
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio.
Close your eyes, a remnant of memory light fades up.
She liked them.
They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once, I even saw two of them get into fisticuffs over Wirral. They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules.
Liberal, what happened?
The usual. They ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time. Well, I did hear them talking at times.
She looks at the hallway as if she could hear them chit-chat behind a curtain on cigarette break.
They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest.
From what I've seen so far, the project did look quite impressive.
Yes, but when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, how the markets are rigged to keep out new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic and to show up to work on time.
She's right. Showing up to work on time is important. Showing up to work on time is hard. No, scratch that. Showing up to work at all is difficult, especially if you've been drinking.
It's too bad. I would have supported them. The project looked great.
Not the wisest decision. You would have lost all your savings.
Carlsberg dice on the table. One of them stops near the edge of the metallic disc.
The result is 1 on a 20-sided die. The dice is black and filled with little silvery flakes, like snowfall.
Anything else?
Whoa. There was a terrifying taxidermy bear in the cellar?
Oh boy, the fabled Revachol ICT. You're in for a treat here.
She smiles and leans closer, her hand on her knees like a stand-up comedian ready to tell a story.
The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas.
Wait, what their other ideas?
There was really just one. And it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth. And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
It means backers approving.
Sounds like she really didn't like those girls. Fritta does the same thing.
I know a girl just like that. She works at Freach as a cashier and she's not particularly friendly. 20 cents per hour is dog's pay. I'm surprised they showed up to work at all. No war winning a house to choose people around you. I don't have an opinion on employed teens.
Employing silky teenage girls is a widespread practice, yes. Unfortunately, they always come in packs. I'm talking about acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the shop. At least that's what happened with Ravenshaw ICT. And they already had the bear.
She closes her eyes as if remembering something painful. What about the bear?
The bear.
She repeats, pressing thumb into their temples like press a headache. Didn't work out.
Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Ravenshaw ICT lost the price war to its rival, Glacé 5000. Glacé 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges.
The bear was scary. Every time I saw the bear, I felt scared, like I could become alive at any moment now. Market doing its job.
Maybe, because the taxidermist who made the bear definitely wasn't. Doing his job, I mean.
How come?
He said that the bear was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. Called it Megatherian.
Megatherian?
Megatherian. A mega wild beast.
What's a mega wild beast?
It's an imaginary beast that guides you through life by telling you to do more drugs, mostly.
A wise and noble beast, guiding you toward the land where the streets are paved with drugs. The horrific necktie tightens around your neck, strangely excited. But it doesn't feel particularly fun this time around.
I don't do drugs.
Very good. You shouldn't do them. You're a police officer after all. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire.
You seem sad. Finishing the story.
Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps? I've been here for a long time.
I found the building's intercom, but it's not working.
Oh, right. I hope you didn't try to ring me. I think none of those doorbells work, including mine. I'm still in the middle of connecting the wires. Sorry about the confusion.
No problem.
The doorbell with the empty name card must belong to her
So
then.
you're telling me that was the door... So you're telling me that the doorbell with the empty name was yours?
That's right. I haven't even written my name there. As I said, it's quite useless right now. It doesn't work yet.
I was wondering about the Whirling Rags. It's part of the same building complex?
You could say so. Both houses were built at the same time and under the East Delta Commerce Center project. That explains why you can call the whirling from the intercom, albeit I doubt that anyone responds.
True.
If the whirling is part of the same building, then it's part of the Dune commercial area. The darkness of this place is there, too.
I saw a name East Delta Pinball on the doorbell.
Right. It used to be a gaming arcade. This is an ancient failure, before my time. I'm not surprised, however. My advice, don't base your business on a fad. Hypnotism, fluorography, trick-track, especially pinball.
Agreed. Pinball is the worst.
His disdain for pinball could not be clearer.
A strange thing happened when I tried calling a company named Slipstream SCA. Someone answered.
It can't be true. They don't work here anymore. They've been gone for years. Are you sure it was Slipstream SCA? Was it a woman? Maybe it was Plaisance from the bookstore.
First it wasn't Plaisance. I know her and would have recognized her voice. Said she was from Tricentennial Electrics.
Tricentennial Electrics?
Ugh. There's a moment before she recognizes the name.
It used to be a major electric company 100 years ago. Are you sure it wasn't just some kids playing a prank on you?
No, it was something else. It was eerie.
It was eerie.
Whatever happened, keep your cool. It's probably better to admit that it was a harmless prank.
Maybe just been some sort of rare electrics anomaly.
A prank is more likely, no? Oh, the kids these days. We were just one of them, and now they're terrorizing us. No solidarity.
Or a few more questions about the building.
Sure. I'm listening.
Actually, I had other questions.
Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
This place is cursed. Did you know people call this place the Dune commercial area?
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true.
How do you explain to what happens to all those companies? Essence is the one who sent me. She's convinced the place is swarming with malicious energies.
It's just capitalism. We only hear about tales of success, so it's often surprising to realize how many ventures actually fail.
Essence is the one who sent me. She's convinced the place is swarming with malicious energies.
Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow?
Sure, the bookstore isn't doing well. There are hardly any customers. She has to exploit her own daughter to keep the company going.
Oh, right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in rags? Some people say it's part of the building complex.
Yeah, but it's still a separate building. The malicious energy couldn't reach that. No, the whirling isn't doing well either. Its waitress just took off and customers have trouble paying bills.
And then there is me.
All kinds of tools are scattered, from knives, carving, files to wire cutters.
I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts. Not exactly a million-real business idea, yet somehow I've survived despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it?
I'll be the first to admit there are many inconsistencies in this so-called curse.
I was just about to ask, what do you think? Do you think the curse is real?
Time has come to face the source. Fear not, for the forces of the universe are supporting you in this psychic quest.
I'm starting to see that there is no curse, only business decisions and natural market fluctuations.
Exactly. Truth is always so disappointingly mundane and boring. But I'm glad we got this sorted out. Anything else I can help you with today?
Plaisance is not going to like what you have to tell her. The bookstore closes starting 2100. You'll have to do that tomorrow.
Shivers.
Oh, it's you again. Are you looking for a die?
Not now.
This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top and an electric freezer that appears to be frozen shut. This orange machine turning the is all gone. What better to assuage the creeping sense of failure than some turning the is all. What better to assuage the creeping
Okay. Need to pass time, buy a book. Reading passes time quickly.
The door is still. The lieutenant gives you a quick glance. He doesn't like where this is going.
Yes?
See you in the morning. I keep wasting pages. Yeah, it's gonna take me a while to get through this. I can waste a page. Alright, Disco Elysium. Actually, let me sign off before I start filling out my notebook. All right, viewers. I keep getting, man, I wanted to be pretty down on this, cause like I feel like I'm doing a lot and still not getting very far. But there's just enough there to like keep me kind of semi-interested, so it's just kind of like rumbling and keeping me involved. Yeah, I don't know that like in each session I don't know that I accomplished a lot. But it kind of just feels okay to kind of what I am accomplishing just kind of feels okay. So, you know, still enjoying leveling up. I died like 3 times in this session, so hopefully I can stop dying in the future. I thought the rifle would actually be a weapon. I thought that was kind of cool to have like a weapon. I don't know if I should be selling off any of that stuff. I know I'm hard up for cash, so maybe I should be. But looking forward to kind of the world opening up on Wednesday morning. Now that I've ditched Kim, I'm gonna go talk to Joyce again to try and get a little bit more about whatever this pale situation is. And I had a lot of fun exploring the kind of exploring the area behind the curtain. So looking forward to seeing if there's a little bit any more in there, figuring out whatever the radio game stuff is and how I can get the password to the documents. But that's it for this session. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you do, follow, like, and subscribe to me on YouTube and Twitch so you can see more great content like this. I'll have links down below in the description. Thanks again. I hope you have a super day. I hope you have a super week. And I hope you have a super day. Bye!